out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kell.
What's good? You are tuned to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kell. I got my squad with me. In effect, as always, my brother Veg from BK. What's going on, bro?
What up, man? I got a lot of Brooklyn in my list, so if I start acting crazy, you know what it is. Okay.
Hey, it's all good, bro. Cal, if Cal was here, it'd be all Queens. We already know how the mayor do the Queens, so that's easy. JP out of Queens. What's going on, bro?
Everything is lovely, man. Thank you for having me again, man. Appreciate you.
You already know, open seat all the time. And Beezo from the Vernonville. What's good, bro?
That's right. What's good? It's been a minute. Oh, I guess it's been like a week, but
a week for us. But besides that,
JP in Vegas.
Yeah, me and B. I ain't seen B in a minute, man.
It's been a couple years, I guess, man.
Yeah. Well, glad to have the group all back together since the writers bitch. You know what I mean? So, y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. So, I was thinking maybe last week or whatever like that. We used to do a show like New Year's resolutions on what we want to see from hip hop and what we want to do different. And one of the things I was thinking about, we didn't do the show this year, but what I was thinking of was I just want to start giving love to a lot of the groups that we just don't name. I feel like hip hop's been around 51, 52 years, and I feel like we talk about the same 20 to 30 MCs. Like, even if it's not all at the same time, somehow, some way, it all comes back to this group of MCs. And it's like, we probably had over, I don't even know, 200-300 MCs, different groups and everything throughout the years, but really don't get they shine. So what I wanted to talk about today was groups from the 80s, R&B and hip hop, if you have them, that laid a foundation for hip hop that we may still see to this day, but that definitely pushed through to what most people call the golden era of the 90s. But maybe these groups from the 80s couldn't make it past the 90s. And it's not because they was whack, because they was dope in the 80s, but hip-hop was growing, so maybe the rhyme styles got iller or the people's pens got sharper. So it's not that these cats was whack, but they just couldn't make it to the 90s. And I was thinking today too, do these young boy MCs, do they like fall off? Like, I guess they do, because I haven't heard nothing from the Little Baby and the Babies and all them. Like, I don't know, but I was just sitting there thinking, like, there were a lot of groups I felt like from the 80s that was dope as hell that just couldn't get to the 90s. Like, I think DMC said when he heard Rakim, he was like, yeah, it's a wrap. Like, yeah, like it's about to get real quiet out here. And then when Nas came, and then you start seeing all these bigger groups. So that's what this show is about. I'm gonna set us off with one of my favorite groups ever. If you know me, I love them. They are my favorite. Now, I didn't say they was the dopest, but they are my favorite from the Native Tongue clique. That's the Jungle Brothers. You know what I mean? I love the Jungle Brothers. I feel like they have two back-to-back 5 mic classics with Straight Out the Jungle and Done by the Forces of Nature. I mean, their resume, they're the foundation of the Native Tongues. So if you like De La, if you like Tribe, Moni Love, Latifah, Beat Nuts, Chi Ali, Black Sheep, they were the foundation of all that. The first time you heard Q-Tip's voice was on the promo off the Straight Out the Jungle album. They started hip house. You know what I mean? Even though I hated that shit, I hated the shit, but I love Girl I House You. Yo, if I'm having a bad day, you put on Girl I House You, nigga, a smile is coming across my face. I'm going to do a little house two-step real quick. I love that song. And then this may be totally out there, but I'll never forget. It's like 86, 87. I'm staying with my people in Brooklyn, and my cousin is like, yo, you know what Jim Browski is? I'm like, nah, I don't know what that is. They was like, yo, shit, dick. I was like, oh, okay, damn, I ain't know that. Okay, so So even with hip hop slang, you know, you got BDP's Jimmy that came from Jim Browski. For a while in the 80s, dudes would be like, yo, you got your Jimmy hat? Like talking about condoms. You know what I mean? So like these dudes was not only the foundation of the native tongue, not only the inventors of hip house, but the slang from Jim Browski, Jimmy hats, and all that stuff was all the Jungle Brothers. So I definitely don't think they get enough love. On the R&B tip, I'm gonna go with Lisa and Colt Jam, man. I don't feel like Lisa's name really gets brought up. I mean, when I think about the 80s, you hear the Whitneys, the Janets, the Luthers, New Edition, Atlantic Star, Anita Baker, Gap Band, Freddie Jackson, Kool and the Gang, but there's so many incredible groups from the 80s. And Lisa to me, she was, and B, you a little older than me, same thing with you, JP, so maybe y'all would know, she was like what I looked at as like the first homegirl singer. You know what I mean? Like Lisa looked like the shorty who lived at the end of your block. You know what I mean? That you went to high school with. Like I felt like the 80s was like gowns and dresses and everything was real fancy. But Lisa, like to me, there's no Mary if there's no Lisa. You know what I mean? Because Lisa was the OG, like around the way girl. You know what I mean? You had huge songs. I mean, I Wonder If I Take You Home. Dog, that was everything. You know what I mean? You couldn't escape that song if you tried. I mean, what else you had? You had the joint All Cried Out, that Allure 112 banged out to, Head to Toe, Feel the Beat was huge. And then I mean, just as far as like, you know, I'm not, you know, sure of her, you know, nationality, but Hispanic or whatever, you know, Spanish, whatever she was, you know, that was like one of the first times I had seen like a Hispanic singer like out in the open. Not saying it's the first time that somebody did that, of course, but I'm just saying making that New York club, pop, radio music all in the one, that was just dope. And everybody loved it. If you was in a club scene, you loved it. If you was on a block, you loved it. If you was just a regular nigga, shorty was cute, you fucked with her. It was just like all those things. But I never hear nobody bring up Lisa's name. So just wanted to shout those out. Vague, who you got it for one of yours, bro?
All right. For me, like when you mentioned this topic, I was thinking about people who are pioneers, but then I was thinking about the time of the 80s, and it felt like everybody contributed in some way or another because it wasn't as oversaturated as we have, you know, now. And even during the times when we was coming up, it still was way more people who were hot. But I have Mantronix, and
it's a huge piece.
I feel like even back then, the music was different. You know what I'm saying? Like it was something about it. I know it was like a mixture of hip hop and funk and electronic.
Right there.
Crazy.
And I think that was the thing about it. Like I think that's what separated Mantronix from, you know, everybody else we were hearing at the time. And if you fast forward, and not saying it's a direct connection, but I think that's what attracted me to like Run the Jewels, right? Because it was hip hop, but it was like dubstep at the same time and a little bit of electronic, but it was just all blended together. And I felt like Mantronix back then, like just the music, like itself, you know what I'm saying? What they did with Just Ice, like it was just really different. You know what I mean? Also, I didn't know Bryce was with Mantronix. Is that real?
Yeah, from Group Theory. He wasn't the OG. He wasn't one of the OGs, but yeah, it's like he joined. He my man Dennis Edward from the Temptations. He ain't an original. You know what I mean? But he was in the group. He Dennis Edwards. You know. That's a dope ass pull too, man.
Yeah, but I mean that was the main reason why I looked at them. This is 1984 for those who don't know. But I remember, like, I wasn't that old, like, to be honest. But I was always into hip-hop early and music in general as a kid. And I always remembered Mantronix because every time my brother played that album, it felt different from everybody else he was playing. And especially the covers. I think it was the Just Ice cover with the, I think it was like an illustration.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I was like
with
attracted to that. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my pick.
No doubt. You got the R&B or is all hip hop?
All hip hop. Yeah.
All right, no doubt. JP, who you got, bro?
I'm gonna have to go with the Fat Boys because I mean, I remember exactly the first joint. Can You Feel It is one of my favorite hip hop songs. Oh man, I haven't heard it in a minute, but I just remember how it made me feel hearing that song. But the Fat Boys ran they had an album out every year, like 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, like every year. And I think by the fourth album, it was kind of like it wasn't as many good songs on the album and stuff like that. But I remember what was it, Big and Beautiful? That was one with they did the Sex Machine. No, that was the Sex Machine.
Forgot about that.
The Sex Machine. That was the one they did the James Brown Sex Machine. That was crazy. But they had a lot of crossover, and it was also like early on. They was leads in movies, the Disorderlies.
Disorderlies. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get a movie like that's how big they was in my eyes. Like, oh, they got a movie? Like they was in other movies, but they were the stars of these movies. This movie in particular. So I was like, okay. So I felt like, but once the 90s hit, I mean, you know, I know Prince Markie Dee started producing and all that, and you know, he did some things on his own, but as far as a group, like it was, like you said, it was changing at the time, and they probably wasn't able to keep up, but they had like 5 or 6 albums.
Yeah. I mean, dog, that right there, I can't tell you, man. That joint right there, this, and for people watching, this was the back of the album. I'll never forget, my stepmoms got me this in '84 for a Christmas present. And it's just like, yo, I would play this album. Like you said, JP, I mean, Jailhouse Rap, especially this album. Like this album, my man put me on. Yeah, like he was like, the way he explained to me, and I loved it, was like this was a Disco 3 album. Like the Disco 3, for people watching, was the Fat Boys' original name before they got signed and Curtis Blow scooped them up. I felt like a lot of those other albums, I felt bad for them too, in the sense that they were like, to me, hip hop's guinea pig. It was kind of like, well, how can we cross over? How can we do this? Because after a while, them dudes was doing some no neck shit. Like I'm like, you with Chubby Checker doing a twist, you with the Beach Boys over here wiping out, like. My nigga, like we gotta stop, man. y'all habitual line steppers now. Like every song was just that. But this album, bro, and I tell people all the time, there was a moment in time when they were just as big, if not bigger, than Run DMC. And that moment in time could have been for a day, could have been for 3 months, but for a moment in time, that's how big the Fat Boys were. That they were literally the dopest hip hop group on the planet. People don't give Kool Rock Ski enough props. Go listen to this album. That nigga's spitting. Now I tell young boys, go listen to Treacherous 3. Go back and listen to Treacherous 3. Go back and then come to this. You can't come from listening to Kendrick Lamar and listening to this. You got to go back so you're able to see what they were coming from. So go listen to some Treacherous 3 and some Busy Bee, then put this on, and you're gonna hear Kool Rock Ski. Yeah, bro, this is crazy. Stick 'em. And then we forget about Buff the Human Beatbox, which was just crazy at that time. You know what I mean? For people who don't know, watch Crush Groove, bro. Watch Crush Groove and see how big, you know what I mean, the Fat Boys were. You know what I mean? So very dope pick, JP. And I don't feel like they get enough props because it was a really quick moment for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they really didn't. If you weren't of a certain age, I think it kind of could have just blown right by you and whatever like that. But this album, crazy. Definitely dope pick, JP. B, what you got?
Well, I feel bad because y'all picked 2 of mine with the Jungle Brothers. Although, Kell, you kind of put that in my head with the text.
I see that. I gotta stop doing that shit. Like, no. But talk about them. Talk about them from your standpoint, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much all of what you said about them. I mean, they were groundbreaking at the time. They kind of were like, they walked the fine line of like being still underground, but also having a commercial success, but still being respected by the underground. You know what I'm saying? The cats in the hood or whatever. I listened to that shit just the other day with Sammy B is on the cut and all that shit. Come on, man. Behind the Bush,
And the cover art was just crazy.
Yeah,
like
everything.
cover art was just crazy with these joints.
And what's his name? I always forget the light skin Jungle. What's his name?
You talking about Africa?
Africa. Yeah, Baby Bell. I gotta forget. Remember, he started acting too.
Yeah,
he was on some like semi-comedy type of funny shit, but it took a minute when I felt like, then it didn't even look like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't recognize him just to see rappers doing the acting shit. And again, the main thing is they laid the foundation for native tongues, like you said. I mean, they were the baseline. That's where everything came out of. Because everybody after that, on some level, reminded me at least of Jungle Brothers. In they beginning, from Money Love to Latifah, to Tribe, even De La, they all kind of had a Jungle Brothers kind of feel to them. So that
bro, and they was rocking the vests back in '86 that niggas was pulling back out when we was at Morgan in the '90s. You know what I mean? So I mean, like this,
the Jungle Brothers, that was like jungle gear type shit.
I mean, and when you think about this album, I mean, just the title, Straight Out the Jungle, Black is Back, you know, Jim Browski, I'm Gonna Do Ya? Like, nigga, I house you, cause I got it like that. Dancing on the dance floor. Girl, it's you that I adore. Step forward.
That's the shit right there.
Yeah. Yo, the national...
Singing like, you know what I'm saying, like some rhythm to it. You wouldn't want to. You actually danced to Jungle Brothers.
Right? Yeah.
In the club, it wasn't just a wallflower nod in your head. You got on the dance floor, cut a rug when they shit came on. That's how dope it was.
Yeah.
But my
crazy.
My other group was gonna be the Fat Boys though. I had the Fat Boys too, because like you said, man, them dudes. I remember White Stone movie theater in the Bronx, or right outside the White Stone Bridge.
Right.
They used to have that was like the first Cineplex that I had ever seen in my life. So everybody from all of Westchester County, the Bronx, all the surrounding areas would go to that shit on Fridays and Saturdays. And I seen Kool Rock Ski was there with like 20 deep. And I mean, you would have thought like Michael Jackson was coming through. I'm just like, everybody stopped. The whole, it's like his whole entourage, everybody just moved. And he was in the front, and he just was like larger than life. He didn't because the size, he just had that, it was that mystique. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, you can talk about, like Prince Marky D was kind of the face, and the human beatbox was a human beatbox. So he had that, he had that going. But Kool Rock Ski was like for the hood cats. He was like almost like G-Rap. When G-Rap first came out, he reminded me of Kool Rock Ski. You know what I'm saying? When I heard it's the demo and what's the other joint, G-Rap, it was the B side of that shit. But that shit reminded me of Kool Rock Ski. So I think what happened to them though was hip hop at that stage where cats was trying to like become more commercial and get that success. Whoever was managing them, I think they went too far with it. They just like, all right, we putting you in movies, like you said, Chubby Checker. Like they didn't know how to market that shit. You know what I'm saying? That was the early stages of hip hop. Because I remember we all jumped in cars and went to see Dis-Onlys in the movie theaters when it came out. That shit was huge to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was a big deal. Seeing rappers, and even it was bigger almost than, like you said, it was bigger than Run DMC than Crush Groove to me. Because Crush Groove felt like it was a hip hop movie, so it was just for us. Mm-hmm. But Disorderlies was the comedy.
Right.
That shit was like for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it was different, man. They was trying, but then it went too far. And I think one thing that did hurt them, Quaz's chest, was Dougie Fresh, because I don't know, but like in New York at least, that's when Slick Rick and Dougie was starting to blow. Mm-hmm. And Dougie had his style of beatboxing. Right. And his shit was kind of sounding iller than what's his Puffy, whatever. What is that?
Buff,
whatever. But Dougie was his shit was a little more intricate, and then he started saying how that he was stealing his style and all that. And I think, and then it's like they was doing the commercial shit, so it's kind of like, cats kind of started getting turned off to them. And the human beatbox was a big part of the group, because first he was the fattest one at that point. Marky D wasn't really fat anyway. And Chris, and Kool Rock Ski he was just a big dude. So I think that kind of, at least in New York, I think that kind of hurt their standing, if you will, in New York hip hop. When people started realizing, like, they getting a little too commercial, And then Dougie is saying they stole his style, and Dougie shit was doper with the beatboxing. And I think that hurt them as well as shit.
Yeah. And then I think too, just, you know, again with hip hop, I felt like, especially in the 80s, hip hop was changing so much. You know what I mean? Even when you look at Busy B battling Moe Dee, like Busy wasn't ready. He didn't get the memo. Like, we really barring now. Like, nigga, we were just doing party rhymes yesterday. Like, this nigga coming at my throat. So it's like every 2 years something was changing. You know what I mean? Like Moe Dee's, you know, Go See the Doctor was funny in 85, but by 87 that shit was whack. Like, niggas ain't want no funny, you know, Rodney Dangerfield type raps no more. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny, I was showing Nate something, we was talking about Chicago Bears. I was like, oh yeah, they did this joint, the Super Bowl Shuffle, and I played it for her. She was like, oh, I know you hated that. I hated it, nigga, that was the shit. You know what I mean? Because in 1985, we take hip-hop anywhere we could get it. We didn't give a fuck if it was Refrigerator Perry and Jim McMahon rapping. It was just like, yo, we take it anywhere. But that whole Super Bowl Shuffle, if that shit would have came out 2 years later, niggas would have been like, yo, get that shit the fuck out of here. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. We done heard I Ain't No Joke, nigga. You sit the fuck down. Like, you know, so hip hop was changing so quickly. And then now that we all four of us make music and we see how you could make an album in 85 and then not drop till into 86. And in that time period, the whole landscape has changed. Like, what you mean we ain't doing that no more? You know, like, think about Joe Ski Love with the Pee Wee Herman. That was the shit when it came out. You know what I mean? Fast forward 2 years, niggas would have been like, ain't nobody doing no dumbass dance. Nigga, shut the fuck up. Like, what you talking about, do the Pee Wee Herman? So, I
saw the video the other day. I was on it again.
I ain't seen.
I was like, this shit hot.
I saw
video in years.
I was watching that shit like, damn, he came out with his boys. I'm like,
right. As soon as I heard that,
I was rocking to this shit, boy.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's the thing. Like that was the thing. You know what I mean? Or a lot of groups from the 80s, Whistle, Just Bugging. You know what I mean? Like, that was the shit when it came out. But again, I feel like once Rakim and BDP came out, it was like, yo, it's time to step your game up. All that whistling and the request line and all that shit, that was cool. But yeah, nigga, we want lyrics now. So
see, but I'm glad you said that, Kell, because that's why people hold Rakim in such a high regard.
Right.
Because he really completely changed the whole genre. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you know, Moe Dee was known as like a lyricist, but we didn't really have that term back then. Right. You know, like a party rapper or this. They was just MCs. And when Moe Dee just destroyed Busy B with the shouting out and this and that, he's straight spitting at us. And then Rakim came, it was the voice, the flow, and then the lyricism. That shit completely changed hip hop forever. Never came. And that's why people like my generation and my age look at Rakim like that and still hold him in such high regard, because maybe without him it would have went there at some point eventually, but I don't think any one person like nowadays could just come in and step in the game and completely change everything the way Rakim did. He as one MC, he just completely changed everything forever.
And it's because it's not just him, it was where the game was at that time too. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was so influential. It's crazy. You know, you hear people say it was hip hop before Rakim and hip hop after Rakim. Like, that's how much he changed. Like, you know, it was different. It was different. It was almost. He's almost like hip hop's jazz musician. You know what I'm saying? Almost like that. So I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
And I always want to show love to KRS too, because KRS changed the game too. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like when I heard poetry at that time, I was like, yo, I ain't never heard nothing like this. You know what I mean? And I can't remember who came first, the chicken or the egg, My Melody or poetry or Bridges. But I feel like they're both right there. And I want to give Rakim all the love because he deserves it. But I also want Chris to get some of that love too. Because when I heard poetry, I was like, that third verse of poetry, I was like, I've never heard nobody rap like this. Like, I mean, this is some next level shit.
There was, he like Slick Rick. He changed shit too, but you couldn't.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, like Rakim.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't do a Slick Rick. That was just his thing. Even with the way he flowed it, with the English accent and all that. It was definitely right, you know.
Dana tried it. Dana tried.
Well, they was in the crew.
I mean, but they tried.
You know, and he just happened to come out, you know, at the right time and all that. But I don't know of any one MC, man, that changed. He was like a force of nature, man. And then he was on that calm, laid back, cool, smooth shit. It was just like, damn, yo.
Yeah.
This dude, he come in and you sit up, tighten up, like, oh shit, okay, let me. Rakim is here, shit. You gotta get solid real quick because you know the guard is just like. I don't know anybody else that did that, man. And that's no disrespect to KRS. Nobody.
Nah.
Just Rollins.
I mean, I always say Rakim was one of those MCs that I heard my melody and I was like, damn, this is crazy. I ain't think he could do no better than I hear be his president. And I'm like, yo, this shit is crazier than that. I don't know if it could get no better. And I hear it, I ain't no joke. And I'm like, wait a second, like, nigga, then I hear, you know you got soul. I'm like, yo, I give up, man. Can this nigga lose? Yeah. Like, he just kept going. But again, we want to give Rakim the love, but again, this show is for the people who don't get the love. Rakim always gets the love. My number 2 right here, we got out of Brooklyn, New York, the Audio 2, man. These dudes right here, I mean, for nothing, they have one of the GOAT songs of hip-hop history with Top Billin'. To me, and I don't know if we felt this way at the time. It's an anthem to me. Now, again, I don't know what it felt like at the time. Vague, you're from Brooklyn. Maybe it always was the anthem, but I felt like, you know, it definitely was like the anthem vibe to it. You know what I mean? And everything like that. So that felt huge. Then to me, JR, what's good, bro?
What's going on, y'all?
What's good, man?
What's going on, y'all?
The R&B gurus in the house, bro.
What's going on?
Oh man, we chilling, man. Now here's the other thing for me. All of y'all from New York, so maybe it's just me. I felt like when I heard Top Billin' and he said, you know, you'll ask why I'm from Bed Do or Die. That was the first time I heard an MC shout out Brooklyn like that. You know what I mean? Now, I know Brooklyn's in the house. I forgot the name of that group. Pardon me, my brain, 51. I know there was Brooklyn in the house, but I felt like there were other groups from Brooklyn. But I felt like when I heard that, I was like, oh, shit. Like, they from Brooklyn. Like, I don't know if Houdini ever said anything about Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I don't know if the Boogie Boys, I think the Boogie Boys I think Whistle was from Brooklyn. There was a lot of groups from Brooklyn, but that was the first time I had heard like a Brooklyn shout out for me to be like, oh, that's where they're from. And then also it's just to me, they're the foundation of First Priority. If y'all look at that logo right there, First Priority Music Group. I mean, that's Milk and Giz, that's the Audio 2, that's MC Light, that's Positive K, that's Mishy Me, that's the Alliance. You know, they were a huge indie label back in the day, you know, so I just felt like the Audio 2, I forgot, I just saw a video and they had Milk in it. And I was like, yo, that's dope as hell. Like that Milk is in the video too, because the average MC, if you just say Milk D, they ain't gonna know what you talking about. You know what I mean? Not knowing that this dude is behind one of the biggest songs ever. On an R&B tip, and I'm glad, JR, you came in right time, just like on Eddie Kane, because I don't know what foundation they set. For me, it was just banging ass slow jams, and that's Ready for the World. I feel like Ready for the World don't get enough love. I never hear their name really brought up. Oh, Sheila was incredible. I don't know. It was everywhere at the time. And then Tonight was stupid. And Love You Down was incredible. You know what I mean? JR, Ready for the World. What do you think? Did they lay a foundation per se? Or like I said, they just had these big slow jams that I loved? Or what would you say about Ready for the World?
I think for them, they just, you know, when they first came out, they came with Old Sheila, which was like a Prince knockoff. So they were already getting put into that. You know what I mean? People were like, oh, man, that's some Prince shit. But Love You Down, Tonight, those are, you know what I mean? So do I think they get slept on? Not really. To me, I think I do hear them, like when people talk about the 80s, they do talk about them, but not as, I mean, they wasn't as big as a lot of these 80s beats anyway. So it's like, right. Yeah, so.
All right, no doubt. JR, since you just popped in, what's one of yours for you?
Because I thought we was doing the 80s groups that didn't get into the 90s, so I got those.
Yeah, that's, I mean, Ready for the World ain't do nothing in the 90s, did they?
Huh? No.
You ready for the world to do anything in the 90s?
Not at all. But I'm gonna start with Kool in the Gang.
Okay.
Because they started the 80s on fire with Ladies Night, Too Hot, Celebration, all that. And it just kept going and going and going. And once they got to about 87, because the last big hit they had is Stone Love. And that was it off the album Forever. Is it Forever? Yeah, it was Forever. And they on that. And then it was kind of like, y'all know, 87, Keith Sweat comes out and that's it. You know what I mean? Everything changed. It wasn't about that anymore. But they, to me, had a big foundation in the 80s. So when you want to talk about 80s R&B, as far as groups, you got to talk about Kool in the Gang.
All right, dope pick, dope pick. Veg, what you got for your next one, bro?
All right, so we talking about Brooklyn and Do or Die specifically, which is Bed-Stuy. It's not all Brooklyn. But I got to give my brother a shout out for the assist. Divine Sounds. Now, some people know the record, What People Do for Money, right? I watched the video today too. I was like, damn, the 80s videos be looking like it's like early 70s. Like somebody cleaned it up a little bit. Couldn't see nothing. But they had a song called Do or Die Bed-Stuy that came out in 1984, predating Audio 2. And I always looked at the Audio 2 anthem because, you know, my age. You know, as I got a little bit older, I knew, you know, y'all know my Queensbridge history. They had their anthem. I had to hear it every goddamn time I was there. So when Audio 2 came out, I was hyped. Like, yeah, we got one. But my brother was like, that Divine Sounds joint, when they used to play that at a party, because it was a Brooklyn record, people used to go crazy. And that was considered an anthem at the time. And I even played some of it. So I think, and this goes for Mantronix also. And, well, let me just back up with Mantronix. I felt like that sound didn't go any further because it was so unique at the time. And at some point, you know, everybody started doing like the James Brown stuff. So nobody wanted to hear all that, you know, eclectic mixes and stuff until other people did it later, like late 90s or whatever. But with Divine Sounds, I just think Beezo said it. Rakim came out.
Shut down.
No more yes, yes, y'all. No, and you don't stops. I was laughing when I was listening to some of these records today because I was like, I used to love this, but these niggas getting hyped up. I was like, maybe that was ill, you know, the way they jumped in and did the routine, but they was hitting me with the yeahs and the yeah and the baby, and I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, but then, you know, you remember like, nah, that's what it was like. Like that's why this was dope back then. So I think again, it was being an MC just changed, and these guys had already kind of like mastered that sound, but now that sound was passe. So were they.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never heard that joint. I know, of course, the What People Do for Money, but I never even heard the Bed-Stuy joint. So I got to look that joint up because I never heard that
on YouTube.
All right. It's funny you said that because there's so much funny 80s shit that literally stood in like a 1 year time. Y'all remember Bobby Jimmy in the Critters about roaches?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like that shit wouldn't have been able to make it in no 87. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but for that time,
the rapping Duke.
Right, the rapping Duke.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so again, it was that because that was just hip hop beginning. And again, for people watching, we would take hip hop any way we could get it. You know what I mean? So anytime we could hear it, anytime we could see it, like JP, like you said, I remember going to see Crush Groove in theaters, and it was mind blowing to me to see the people who we look at as superheroes on the big screen. Like, I know for people, young boys now, it ain't shit because that's what y'all grew up on. We grew up in an era where sometimes you ain't even see a video. Lottie Dottie was one of the biggest songs ever. They ain't have no video. I ain't know what Slick Rick or Dougie Fresh looked like. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, to go into a movie theater and see the Fat Boys and Run DMC and Curtis Blow, all these people on the screen was like, yo, this is incredible. JP, what you got up next, bro?
I had Kool Moe Dee. I know you had mentioned Kool Moe Dee earlier, right? as one?
No.
Oh, because I
No,
thought you
no.
talked about them, but
Oh no, I was just talking about the battle at Harlem World with Busy Big.
oh, okay. Yeah, Kool Moe Dee. I feel like Kool Moe Dee is one that, he came out, his first album, his solo album came out in 86, but he was part of Treacherous 3 and all that, so he had history. But I think after the battle with LL, that back and forth, things fizzled out for him. I can't really. He put out an album in '91, I think. I forgot to look it up, what it was called, but nothing on that album was memorable. So the '80s was because Moe Dee was that guy in the '80s. Like he was that guy. Once he was the main guy in Treacherous 3. You knew he was the guy. And then when he went solo, it was like, okay. I always remember, what was the show that came on with Graffiti Rock? Graffiti Rock?
Yeah, Graffiti Rock.
House? Well, I forget.
No, Graffiti Rock.
It was Run DMC and the Treacherous 3, and they were all rhyme. And I remember Moe Dee rhyming, and like I was just like, he was just had the mic, and he was just wasn't moving, but just like this. And I remember being like, yo, this dude is nice. Going up like he rhymed right after Run DMC. I need to find that that clip again. But after that, like, he had a couple hits. I mean, with the Go See the Doctor and those things in the Wild Wild West and everything like that. So he had a successful career. And that battle with LL was a big deal. That was a big. LL was like new, younger 80s, and Moe Dee seemed like the older 80s guy, whatever. But it was still entertaining because they were both still respected. So that back and forth was interesting. But then after that, I mean, LL, what LL went on to do. But I'm just saying, it was like Moe Dee was not, as hot to make it through the 90s for me.
Right. What you got, Veg?
I think what also put the flowers on the grave for Moe Dee. The Golden Child, right? Eddie Murphy with that fucking hat and that one, right? The hat was like connected to the shade, and that one episode of Martin when his cousin came over and was dressed like that.
Yeah,
yo, is that picture of him in all yellow?
In all yellow by the bed?
Yo,
and the wild part about that, bro, is I swear to you on my soul, I bet you Moe Dee was like, I shut this shit down. Like, you couldn't tell Moe Dee nothing. You can see in that picture, like, it's like, nigga, I'm the motherfucking man.
That's
y'all
like
must be crazy.
With Teddy Pendergrass with the fur. Like,
right.
Moe Dee felt
right.
like that.
Like, yo, bro, you ain't never lied, man.
But he wasn't just the hat, and he had the leather boots on, like the shit my sister used to rock in like '85. He had them shits on with the little 2-inch heel on the bottom. That's one of the reasons Moe Dee fell off. My memory of Moe Dee, the last memory I have of him, I forget what movie it was. It's like the Black Panther movie. It's not the Black Panther with the recent shit, the Marvel shit, but it was some 60s Black Panther shit, and he was one of the righteous people, and they came to the barbecue, and he's like, libations, my brother. That's the last fond memory I have of Kool Moe Dee. Everything after that, all that is the leather. It's this leather literally from head to toe with that cat, man. And I hate to get on like that, because like you said, JP, for me, Moe Dee was Rakim. It was Moe Dee, and oh my God, I'm gonna kill myself. My man from Cold Crush. Oh my God, the MC.
You talking about Cass? You talking about Cass?
Cass, yes, Cass, Moe Dee, and somebody else. I always had for the Grandmaster Flash in
Melly Mel.
Yes. Was the first big three.
Yes.
Then it was Rakim, Kane, and G-Rap, or KRS, whoever you prefer to put in there. Right. Then it became Nas, Biggie, and Jay, and that type of shit. But Moe Dee, like you say, he was one of them. Right. Back in the day.
Right.
And then the whole battle with Busy B just solidified that shit for him and put him up there. So I hate to say these things about the brother, but he made the choice to put that shit on, man. So it's out there. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe us, Google that shit. It's out there.
Yo, B, you know the funny thing? I was doing a session with my kids today, and I was teaching them about misplaced anger. Because I asked the kids, I said, yo, what was the dopest part about the week? One of my little young boys was like, watching your Eagles lose, right? And I was like, word? I said, who's your squad? He was like, oh, you know, the Commanders. I said, see, this is misplaced anger, my nigga. You should be mad at your coach for playing Jalen Daniels so late in the game and fucking him up. Why you mad at us? That's misplaced anger. So Mo, if you watching, it's no shot to you, my nigga, because like Beezo said, you chose to wear that shit, or your girl who you was with told you to wear that shit. That's misplaced anger. Don't be mad at us.
It's all on him.
It's all on him.
In that boot, his arm did that coat and put that shit on his head, and he rocked that shit for a minute. It wasn't a goofy. It was the Eddie Murphy, the Golden Child.
Yeah, it was the Golden Child.
Yeah,
he was wilding, man.
Yeah, that was all him. That was all like, because nobody around was wearing nobody except chicks.
Was just like
except the chicks. Okay. The chicks will wear hats like that.
Yeah.
When you seen the glasses, it was
right.
Like, okay.
You remember babe? Like the chicks will wear that hat.
Here's a wild part about this.
And the hat.
Here's a wild part about that. And I tell people I'll be transparent with nut ass shit I did. I saw the Golden Child and I love fucking Eddie Murphy. So I was like, I'm gonna get one of them motherfucking hats.
And I wore it. One of them hats?
One day, nigga, one day. Because as soon as I got on the bus, niggas like, yo, what the fuck you wearing? That's what the girl was wearing. I was like, oh shit, Eddie had it on. I'm copping the plea like Eddie. It's Eddie's fault. Eddie rocked it. They was like, nah, nigga, we rocked the leather baseball caps. The girls rocked that. I was like, oh, okay. I threw that shit away, but Moe Dee kept going. Like, nigga, it ain't even like I didn't even get to school. I like got to this bus stop and got that shit got tore. So yeah, Moe Dee.
Don't cut him no slack on that, man. That's all on him, bro. Word up. That's that. But you know what, though? Not to leave. I'm gonna leave Moe Dee alone. But I want to go back real quick before I get my next one. When you brought up the audio too, but that was one of the groups that I was thinking about because you had texted me that one also. But I gotta ask, especially JP in Vegas, being that y'all from New York and we around the same age.
And you know JR from Brooklyn.
But JR, you like,
I'm not,
my bad. I forgot. JR was like negative. My bad. JR was negative 12 when that shit. Right. He was negative 12. That nigga wasn't even born. He was negative 12.
But I gotta ask y'all, where Vegas and JP, where do you remember the first time you heard Stop Billing? Where you were at or how you heard it? Because I do. I remember that. It's the funny shit for me. So I'm just curious if y'all remember when you first heard that joint.
For me, it was sound like some hip hop shit, but just lived in the hood at a block party.
Okay.
I just remember, hearing that beat, and you hear "Bed Do or Die," and like I lived between Gates Lewis and Stuyvesant.
Okay.
So it was like the fucking heart of, you know what I'm saying? Like just hearing that. But yeah, that's how I remember hearing it at a block party.
What about you, JP?
I really don't remember when I first heard it. I really can't remember. I want to say it might have been on the radio. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, because that's where I got it from.
Like late. My man,
remember, I was just about to say, remember Hank Love and DNA and Hank Love show?
Yes.
On 105, it was them, and then Awesome 2 with Teddy Ted.
Yes.
Special King came on
yes.
after that.
Yes.
And so I know if you used to listen to that, I know you remember the commercials. But the hair commercial where he's like, "Is your girl's hair nappy? It's so weird. Wake her up now." You and my man used to bug out over that shit.
Yo, that's
every night. Was it Fridays or Saturday nights? And like it was like dumb late, like 2 in the morning. Like
definitely like 2 in the morning shit.
One of them shows, the Awesome 2 was like 1 hour, and it was like 3 to 4, and the other 2 was 12 to 2 or some shit like that. It was dumb late. But they used to have the wildest commercials on the Hank Love DNA show. And one of them was this hair salon in Brooklyn or the Bronx someplace. And every time, me and my man bug out on for that shit. But the first time we heard Top Billing was on DNA Hank Love. And we was like, man, what is this bullshit? We didn't like his voice, the rhymes, nothing. We couldn't stand that shit. And then as the time went on, it's like, it was so big in New York. You couldn't avoid that shit. Like you said, if you went to a barbecue, you went anywhere, and that's when niggas was walking around with the radio.
Yeah.
So you was going to hear it. So eventually, it like grew on us like damn. And I remember, I could call my man right now, my man Floyd. Davey Smooth's younger brother. I can call him right now. I'd be like, remember you used to hate that song? And he know, like, yeah, man. Until he just kept hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. But the bug shit was, I was at a Sam Ash one time, and for the longest, I never knew that was Impeach the President. It was somebody had loaded up Impeach the President on one of them little Zoom drum machines, and I was just pressing the button, and then I was like, dun, 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 dun. I had no idea that beat was Impeach the President, and he was just hitting the button. That blew my fucking mind, man. I had no idea about that shit. So the audio too, it's one of them like for Vegas, just like my memory of that shit is like X on some hip hop shit. Because I hated that shit when I first heard it. Hated it. But over time, like now, I love that shit. It's the anthem. It's a straight up hip hop anthem. So I just had to say that real quick. But my group is Ultramagnetic MCs, man. Mm-hmm. Ultra, yo, I used to love them dudes, man. Critical Beatdown, to me, is one of the greatest albums in hip hop history. Because Ego Trippin' alone, that's one of the dopest songs in hip hop history.
That's one of the best artist beats ever.
Yes, ever. I don't care whoever you use. I know Ghost killed Synthetic Substitution a couple times, but nobody
that original
can duplicate the energy that they did with Ego. Because the way Kool Keith is rhyming and Sted G, the energy they got, it just embodied, it was right perfect with that beat. That's it. And they didn't try to do no extra shit with it. That was the one thing about hip hop back then. It was a lot of just break beats and a sample, and they might take a catchy phrase from an old classic R&B song from the 70s they grew up on. But them niggas just went in on that beat and just spit and went hard with that shit. That joint right there is one of my favorite. And Ultra, they had a song with was it Father Don? I forget the cat's name. Raise It Up. That came out a little bit later. That was in the 90s. And that was like one song I heard from them. And then, you know, Kool Keith, of course, with Rhythm X and all that other crazy shit he started doing. He got on some next level shit. But in terms of just Ultra was like, to me, I mean, that's the perfect name. Ultramagnetic MCs. Just that name alone is like crazy. It's cosmic and it spit. I mean, it hit right on the head of how they energy and how they made me feel when I the first time I heard it. And that's the hip hop moment for me too, because I was walking with my man Floyd through the Vernon, going to see some chicks, and we stopped to the store, and Mr. Magic said the world premiere, and then you heard that beat, and that shit dropped, and we just stopped. We stood outside the store the whole time listening like, yo, this is crazy. And then went up the whole rest of our walk, we was just talking about that beat, that song. Today, Ultra to me is one of the dopest groups ever, straight up. And that Critical Beatdown, it should be, I don't think it's given enough credit in hip hop, but it should be considered one of the greatest hip hop albums ever, in my opinion.
No doubt, bro. It's definitely one of mine. After JR goes, I'm gonna go into a whole litmus of that album. JR, what you got up next, bro?
Well, all of mine is groups since the 80s. I'm gonna stick with the SOS Band.
Mm-hmm. They was on my list too.
Yes, they were dope coming into the 80s for real. Woo! And then once Jam and Lewis got to them, it just took them to a whole other level for real. But by the time after the Sands of Time, which was the finest on it, they were kind of done after that, because Jam and Lewis ain't had no time for them, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? It's mixtape. They got Janet, they got New Edition, they got all of this in time, all of that. It was just like, when did they have time for them? You know what I mean? And then I think they actually broke up as a group anyway, because then they came out with that Diamonds of Raw album, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? But it was just, it didn't hit like that. And obviously, again, the sound is changing. This is 89 going into 90. They weren't gonna fit in that. And by the time that happens, we're starting to get the male groups. It wasn't bands, because in the 90s we only had really two bands. That was Mint Condition and Tony. That was it. So bands started making their way out after that, going into the 90s. So I say SOS Band.
Yeah, that's dope.
They was definitely one of mine. I mean, when you think about take your time, do it right, off the rip. You know what I mean? They
finest.
What happened?
The finest.
Yeah.
that song right there, man, listen.
I mean, bro, and then I think with their third album, they was messing with Leon Silvers, and then Jam and Lewis came in on the fourth album, and that's where we got the Just Be Good to Me and Tell Me If You Still Care, and it's like those two joints. I mean, Tell Me If You Care and just Be Good to Me. Like, even when you listen to the words, it's like, wow, that's crazy. This shorty got low self-esteem. Like, yo, I don't care if you be smashing mother hoes. Like, just be good to me. Shorty ain't have a father in her life. Like, yo, come on, man. You supposed to care if he got another chick on the side, but whatever. It's the importance.
Is different, man.
Yeah, it's the importance. Men, stay in your daughter's life, man. She'll be singing fucking Just Be Good to Me. Back with Ultra, man. I mean, the thing about this is, as far as favorite albums, this is the top 3 favorite album of all time, of every album of any genre. Shit, this may be like close to 1. I may listen to this more than Criminal Minded, and It Takes a Nation. Like, I love this album. To me, I honestly used to believe, and not honestly on some real shit, but like, yo, I used to be like, yo, these niggas Kool Keith and Said G came back from the future. Because wasn't nobody rhyming like them, and nobody was making beats like them. It literally felt like these niggas was already in the 90s, and they came back to 86. Like, yo, this is what hip-hop is going to be like, you know what I mean, 6 years from now. The producer in me, the first time I heard the Joe Cocker break the piano sample for Funky, nigga, like, I would hear Funky on Power 99 with Lady B, and I could listen to that over and over again. And for people watching, it's the piano sample that went on. EPMD used it for Knick Knack, Paddywhack, but most people would know by California Love that Dre and Pac used. The first time that joint came out was Said G with that. Let me tell you how artists were. I didn't know this shit. Israel and New Breed, which is a gospel group, used that sample too. You know what I mean? And it all comes back. I'm sure they heard it from Pac and not from Ultra, but we gonna go give props to the originators. Right. Ultra on Funky with that, which was crazy. I don't know if this is true. The rumor was Said G was the only nigga in the whole entire borough of the Bronx with an SP 1200. You know what I mean? And if it's not true, it sound good because, like you said, synthetic substitution. That was the first time I heard that joint. Was with Ultra. When I'm looking at the joint Kool Keith Co-Housing things, like the same sample that Marley did for the Wrath of Cain, and I think it was just this album is just, like I said, if it may be my favorite hip hop album in the entire world. Like, that's how much I love this album. What you gonna say,
something, Kell? Remember something. Maybe you can clear it up for me. What the hell does Mo Love have to do? Was he like the Jerobi of Ultramagnetic?
Yo, I don't know what TR or Mo did. I don't know what either one of them did.
It's four. It's on the cover. Word up. And that dude over there and that dude right there was rhyming. I don't know if they was the DJs, because I seen them live before. I saw them at the rooftop back in the day.
Crazy thing is, Grap was just home last week.
Yeah, I saw the video.
And Ultra was performing. You know what I mean? Which was crazy.
Dingo.
Yeah. What was crazy? On the R&B side, I got Loose Ends.
That was one of my groups, man.
I don't think Loose Ends gets enough. Props Jane Eugene, Carl McIntosh on guitar, Steve Nicole on keys. To me, there's no Soul to Soul without Loose Ends. Like, they opened the door for the British to US connection. I mean, Slow Down, Hanging on a String, Watching You. Like,
so they had a roll. They was on a roll for a minute there, bro. Hit after hit after hit, bro.
Crazy.
They was like a funkier, harder Sade for me. Right? With the smooth England funk, hip hoppy type of. They said was just butters, man. That's one good thing that I loved was the shit off of Pete Rock's first solo.
Pete Soul Survivor.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite cuts off of that. And Pete talked about them and how they just had that sound, man. And Pete, to me, his sound resembles at times, especially his around Soul Survivor. A lot of his sound resembles some Loose Ends type of shit. So when he did that joint with him, it was a perfect match. It sounded lovely.
That was the perfect alley-oop, because that's what I was going to tell people. If you're a hip hop head and you heard Soul Survivor, You heard Loose Ends on Take Your Time. I was just listening to Watching You today, man. I forgot how much I loved that song as a short, man. I mean, the 80s, we was blessed with so much incredible music. And it's just not, it wasn't just hip hop, it was R&B. It was even the white folk, you know what I mean? Them white groups that had amazing music that was out. You know what I mean? Well, some of it sounded black, but you know, JR, I think the other thing is, like we always talk about, as 80s kids, we got kidnapped. Nigga, there's one stereo in the house.
Right.
Nobody had no choice. Nobody here. So if you was watching Friday night videos waiting to see the Beastie Boys, nigga, you had to sit through Men at Work, Duran Duran, Huey Lewis and the News. Tears for Fears, the Eurythmics, fucking what's my man?
Pet Shop Boys,
Culture Club, Boy George. And none of that shit sounded. Huey Lewis ain't sound black at all. There's nothing black about Huey Lewis. Nothing. You know what I mean? But because we had to sit through that shit to see fucking one rap video, you just got used to that stuff. I mean, to this day, Duran Duran is a top 5 band for me of any genre. I love Duran Duran. You know what I mean? And it's only because of
Wham UK.
All that shit. So it's like
what's the dope video that's like black and white? It's like a cartoon.
Aha.
Oh, man.
Right.
But Aha, yes.
Take on me. Yep.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Black or white. Again, you had no choice. If you think about it, I don't know how it was in Philly, but only time you had hip hop was Friday from 9 to 12.
Yeah.
Saturday night 9 to 12. And then, like I said, if you were right in the tri-state area, you could pick up DNA, Hank Love, and Awesome too. But that was it. And it didn't start until Public Enemy did this shit on his song, radio, Suckers Never Play Me. That's when you started hearing some hip hop on the radio in a regular, during the day or whatever. Before that, you had to turn on your radio at a specific time to hear hip hop. The younger generation, I'm sure they couldn't even fathom that.
Right.
You couldn't just, and that's why we have the mixtapes, which is cassette tape. You sit there at 9 o'clock.
Right.
You think about 9 o'clock, 9 to 12 at that age, we trying to go out. We going out, hanging out, partying, whatever, going to clubs. Nah, you got the first couple hours, you in the crib with the radio, with the tape ready to go. You got pause and record, ready to go. As soon as your song comes on, bam, you hitting that shit.
Yep.
And that's how you kept your hip hop going. Otherwise, when no hip hop, we had no playlist to shoot from. Nah, you had your little mixtape you made at the crib, man. That was it.
And the wild part, bro, is it kind of reminds me on some prohibition shit back in the day. Like, it wasn't legal. Like, you had to sneak to go find that shit. Like, you couldn't just walk in a bar and get a drink. You had to go find a speakeasy somewhere in some back alley and knock on the door 3 times and wait for the knock. Yeah, like, and that's what it felt like. I mean, even at Morgan, before I got up at 89, I used to do the same shit. Getting your tape ready. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's Vinny B playing tonight? What you gonna say, Veg?
Yeah, I got a quick relatable story like that. I remember because I was young when it was like that, where hip hop you had to be up super late, and a black household, your mother hear you fucking breathe past a certain time, that's your ass. But I remember I got a radio that had a timer to set the recording, so I used to set the time for the shows that I knew I couldn't record. The shit was literally like catching fish or some shit, or setting a trap. Because in the morning I would wake up and one morning I would put PM instead of AM and be like, shit, I recorded some Haitian show at night or some shit. And then another time I got the whole show, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, like listening to that shit on a Saturday. But y'all right, man. It was literally like, if you wanted hip hop, you had to stay up late. You had to borrow tapes, get dubs, all kinds of shit just to hear, what was new. So,
damn, man, I miss those times, man.
That's why
I miss those times.
So hard when he said, "Never put me in your boxes to see these tapes," because when that shit happened. If you didn't know how to fix that cassette tape, your heart was broken. You know how many days and hours and weeks it took to make that tape, and your man's ratty ass tape deck chewed this shit up. and then it would always happen to like your favorite song, because you keep rewinding and fast on. That's for that song, and now this nigga shit there. Oh my god! You pull it out, and it's just coming out. You like, yo, this nigga. And your man in the back seat, I told you don't put it in that shit. And that's why I became a wizard at that shit. And
Exactly, yo, bro. Exactly, bro. I asked my
Yeah,
mom. I
that's
said,
really close to me and shit.
I would be like, yo, I need screwdrivers. She'd be like, use the ones in there. I'm like, nah, I need smaller joints. I gotta get these. You gonna fix that shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? There was a special time, and I mean, I think it's one of the reasons people our age love the culture so much because of what we had to do. The life, risking life and limb, like you said, Vague. I had never even heard of no technology like that because my dumb ass was just trying to stay up and not get caught. And if you got caught, then you on punishment. You know what I mean? So it's like the things we was doing for hip hop was just, you know, on some incredible type shit. Vague, what you got up next, bro?
MC Shan. I mean,
yeah,
you see him now.
Yeah.
I saw the Sprite commercial with Shan and KRS-One when they kind of redid their battle for the Sprite commercial, and I was like, damn, look at Shan. Like,
I love Shan in that commercial.
Yeah, he was dope. Like,
dope. He looked healthy and strong.
Yeah.
But you know, in the 80s, you know, he was that guy. The Bridge was that record. It like his unique voice, all of that. I remember. I always tell this story only because I used to just be a Brooklyn nigga in Queensbridge, and I just love poking fun at them. I never forget. This is a little sidebar. But you know, you in Queensbridge, you know Marley here somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You know Shan, so you like where they at? But I really wanted to meet like Marley Marl, man. And I remember I was walking with my cousin Will, rest in peace, to the bodega, and I kind of glanced down the street and I saw Kango, no shirt, you know, the velour sweats, and I was like, LL? Like that's exactly what my mind was. I was like, LL? And he was like, no, Shan, what up? And he was like, I was like, man, I don't want to see that nigga. Like, you know, now by that time, you know why? Because The Bridge is Over was already out. But I think in a lot of ways he became like the first like Ja Rule situation, because like you said, Kell, Shan dropped a pretty good album after that.
I always say Born to Be Wild was a dope ass album. This is 1988, produced by Marley Marl. I want people out there watching to understand 88 produced by Marley Marl was also Business Going Off and Kane's Long Live the Kane. And G-Rap is coming 89. So the beats is there. And I mean, I pioneered this. Is still one of my favorite MC Shan songs. But it was almost just like, once you took an L in hip hop in the 80s, that was it. It didn't matter what you put out after you took that L, and that was that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people just forgot like how dope Shan was to hip hop heads. And for him, it was the battle, maybe a little bit of arrogance. Like you said, you think Kell be rigid with them hip hop rules now. Back then, everybody was on that shit. Like, what? White hip style, you might get jumped. Like,
right?
It was serious. So, but it's kind of unfortunate because even though he didn't necessarily have like an old school style either, right? Like his joint was unique, but you know the '90s just brought like just different shit, and you know the battle kind of took its toll, and then BDP and KRS-One rose even higher than that. So
it's funny, like you said, the arrogance, because you know this dude not showing up for the symphony. Like, yo, like how you at the airport, like, yo, we gonna go back to the crib, and he looking at Kane and G-Rap like, these lose ass niggas. Like, I'm Shan, nigga. You know what I mean? So that's gotta be like crazy, man. And the thing that I never knew, I just watched this thing on Master Ace. One, I didn't know he had MS. I had no idea about that. You know? Did y'all know that he has MS?
Oh, Shan?
No, Master Ace.
Oh, Master Ace. Oh, no, I didn't know that either. No.
Yeah, because he was talking about when he did Disposable Arts, he was like, I just went all in because I didn't know if I was going to be able to walk next year. I didn't know what this MS was going to do to me, so I just kind of went all in. But he was talking about the symphony, and he was saying how it was supposed to be. I've heard different stories, but was Ace was saying was it was supposed to just be Kane and G-Rap. You know what I mean? And then Craig was like, yo, let me get on. And they was like, all right, cool, Craig, you cool as shit. And then it was like, and they was supposed to just be the three of them. And Marley was in the studio like, all right, well, who gonna go first? And Kane like, well, let G-Rap. And G-Rap let Craig. And then Marley was like, yo, Ace, come over here. Just warm these niggas up, man. Just spit something and just warm them up. So he was like, my verse wasn't even supposed to make it. Like, I was just recording just to warm it up. And Kane and them was like, man, fuck this nigga. We going to the store to get a slice of pizza. And then they came back and they heard the verse and they was like, damn, he said they called them glasses. He was like, yo, glasses are aight. You know, glasses ain't that bad. Keep them on the track. And that's how Ace ended up being on the Symphony and setting it off. You know what I mean?
Yo, Kell, did you ever see the interview with Kane and Ghostface? When Ghostface kind of interviewed Kane?
Nah, I ain't see that.
Oh yeah, I seen pieces.
Okay.
Kane talked about that. He was like, they was gonna bounce. They was gonna bounce and not even come back.
Yeah, because they was like, oh, he on it?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. Like they went and got some pizza. Like this nigga, like, yeah, all right, we out. And they wasn't even gonna come out. I forget why he said that they actually did. He said he said they're glad he did because when he came back and he heard his verse, like, oh, okay, like yeah, like, glasses can spit. And then they decided, all right, yeah, we gonna do this. But yeah, that's some crazy shit. It's crazy.
Yeah. JP, what you got up next, bro?
Let's see who I got. Well, this is not. This is like it doesn't really fall in the same category because it's basically a big what if. But the DLC, we all know why he ain't go through the 90s, but that's a huge what if because that
might be the biggest.
That first album was great. Like that first album, like like they had a synergy on that album that was incredible, and I was just excited to see like what could have been like that. What his run, like it could have been totally different if he didn't have the accent. He could have been bigger than Snoop, or you never know what could have happened. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the accident was tragic, but I always thought about. I mean, if he could have got his run in the 90s, because that album came out in 89, right?
Yep.
He could have got that running, like it could have changed the dynamic of hip hop. Like, I mean, I feel like he would have been one of them legends that we talked about because he was nice too. Lyrically, he was nice. He was a nice MC for real. So I mean, clearly because he wrote for, you know what I'm saying, Dre or whatever. But I always think about what would have happened if he'd have had that early 90s run, like 3 more albums or something like that. Could have been different.
Yo, we've done shows about that. It's almost like it could go so many ways, though. Like one, if DOC is still there, there's Cube, Florida, NWA like that. You know, because you got a DOC Ice Cube war, and you got Prime DOC versus Prime Ice Cube. You talk about a hip hop battle. We talking about 30 years later that happened. Does Dre even need Snoop for deep cover? Does DOC jump on that? Warren G like, yo, this man Snoop. Like, nigga, whatever. Here go DOC. Whatever. Eat a dick. Like, let's keep going. Like, you know,
DOC would have sound crazy on deep cover. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like, yo, because almost like, you know, Dre was looking for that other MC. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, Snoop, okay, boom, this your man, he nice. All right, come jump on this joint. And then you get that. You know what I mean? So it could have went. I mean, and if DOC did get that 3-album run, like we would have expected him to have with Dre production, man, I mean, he's right up there. He's up there with the Kanes, Rakims, and G-Raps, if you ask me. And then through all that, he's from Texas. Like, you know, so that's the other kicker, too. Like, this nigga ain't even from no borough. Like, so yeah, it definitely is a big what if, like, because that he had it, man. I mean, everything off that. The doctor, the formula, whirlwind. I mean, just every funky. And I remember the first time I seen it, like, what is this?
He had dope cadence, flow, like he had it all. Like he had lyrics and he knew how to rock a beat. Like he knew what to do he was like a complete MC to me. Like he had it all. I felt like.
Yeah.
And he had a good voice.
Because it's like, and the words fit right in place. Like it's like, cool, I'm with it. Like it was beautiful. One of my favorite parts of that album, when as a Whirlwind Pyramid, when they rapping, he was like, yo, Dre, why you stop the beat? Yo, to catch your breath. Yo, you got it? Yeah, good, got it. Then they go right back smooth. Like he just went back. I remember hearing that, like, yo, what the fuck is going on? This nigga just stopped the beat for this nigga to catch his breath. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, DOC is definitely. I'm really hoping what I've heard is through the AI, he's gonna be getting his voice and he may be dropping album. I'm just concerned. I'm just concerned about the production. That's all. You know, because at that time, no, I mean dead ass. Because at that time, if we would have got, keep in mind, Dre was still Dre. I mean, up until 2001. You know what I mean? Like, so some of those doggy style beats would have been on a DOC album. Maybe some of them chronic beats. You know. So those albums would have been fine. So it's just, what is it gonna be now, 30 years later? But prayerfully we'll see. Beezo, what you got up next, bro?
But I just want to add on real quick to the DOC. In the basketball analogy, he's almost like Grant Hill. Like, he's saw enough to recognize, yo, this dude would have been one of the illest ever. But then he tore his ankle up, and in his case, his throat or whatever. So we never got to see it, but you saw enough to know for certain, yeah, this nigga would have been one of them dudes, no question. He's like the Grant Hill of hip hop, straight up, man. That's the best way I could put it, straight up. Yeah. But my group is it's not a group, and I'm cheating a little bit because he dropped at the very end of 80 in 89 his first album, but his next album came out in 90. But and he did make some more music, but it never hit like that, at least for me. And that's my man out in Cali, King T. I used to love King T. Play Like a Piano is one of my favorite joints, mainly in them West Coast cats. And I know he may not have like changed hip hop, but for me as a cat from New York, that's when it wasn't really cool to be loving Cali hip hop, because a lot of it was that, like, it sounded like some old Mantronix type of shit. A lot of the stuff they was doing was like them 808s and all that shit. But King T's shit was hard. He had break beats, you know what I'm saying, and straight up samples. And he spit like some, I don't want to say like a New York cat, but he wasn't spitting on that slow drawl like they was doing at that point, like a Too Short and them. And no shade to Too Short, because I fuck with Too Short, but he just sounded different from the rest of them Cali cats to me. And he was one of the first Cali cats that I really jumped on. It's like, yo, I bought that album, that second album of his. I had the first one, but I didn't really love it. It was okay. But when he dropped the second one, I was on that shit crazy. That was my joint. And I had it when I went to Morgan. And I remember trying to put some of my New York cats on, and they had heard one or two, but I'm like, now you gotta check this shit. So I was putting other cats on it. And that's why for me, it's King T, man, because he meant something for me as a New York cat, you know what I'm saying, with that whole New York Cali, not even on no beef shit, but just the sound was different from them cats back then in the 80s coming into the 90s. So he was like the first one for me that caught my ear, like he was kind of bridging the gap sonically, other than NWA, because they was doing what they was doing. But I love King T, man. That was my dude right there.
Other thing with King T, that's the Alcoholics. That's the intro. That's the alley to the licks. You know what I mean? When I got it back, and Big talked about what influence King T was on him as an MC. You know, so for Big to say that, it mean a lot. JR, what you got up next, bro?
I'm gonna say the Gap Band. Going into the 80s, you definitely have to talk about them. They had a sound that nobody really kind of had at all. And once you got to about 86, when they had the Beep a Freak, and
my bad. Did you say Beep a Freak?
Yes.
like Page a Freak?
Yes.
This nigga said Beep a Freak.
Yes.
Beeper.
But once you had that, and this is 86, and then Charlie working with everybody, you kind of knew Charlie was about to go do his own thing for real. But I don't know if they would have made it into the to the 90s for real, because that sound that they had was kind of getting old. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like a whole, like New Jack and all that kind of really messed up. And when a lot of our legends tried to do that New Jack sound, that shit was terrible. It made them look stupid. It was like, why are y'all doing this? Stay in your own lanes, yo. Like, it's fine to try to do something new and the label's pushing you, but they got y'all looking stupid for real.
But here's the thing, JL. Let me ask a question to challenge you. stay in your own lane, but my lane is closed now. Nobody wants my lane no more.
Then just tour.
But see, I don't know if that worked in the 80s though. Like you saying that because you're the one who put me onto that now. And I think now because you still gotta make music. Like you still may be in this label for another 3 albums. So it's like you may not have
but a lot of them had a lot of them albums back then. Because okay, you got a 7-album deal. By then, by like 86, Gap Band was on album number 9. So it was like y'all were good. You know what I'm saying? So then you got, Charlie going over there doing stuff with Roger with Computer Love and all of that kind of stuff. So it's like, no, like, just do
let me ask you this.
There's still a lane there.
But was there a lane? You just said that they weren't going to be able to make it in the 90s.
But that's what happened with Quiet Storm, though, because Quiet Storm built the lane for people like Anita and Luther and all them to go into the 90s with the same sound. So Anita wasn't getting played on. I mean, she was, but she got big for being on Quiet Storm. So there was a lane for these artists, not this New Jack shit. They wasn't even singing on beat.
But the thing is,
damn,
I'm just. Tell us how you really feel, JR. But what I'm trying to think about is I'm trying to think about artists at that time. Now it's easy for people to tour now because they're legacy groups. Like we want to hear Charlie Wilson. I don't know if in the 80s people would have wanted if and I could be wrong. I'm just asking. Would people in the 80s would the Gap Band have been able to say, all right, no more music, our sound is played out, we're just gonna tour? Because I feel like in real time nobody wants to go see somebody whose sound is played out.
But you're not gonna go over there and go overseas.
Yeah, but now I gotta leave my kids, man. It's like with the WNBA. It's like with the WNBA. The
WNBA wasn't raising their kids anyway. Come on, man. They wasn't raising their damn kids. These niggas was out on the road with Mistress Number 18.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying that nobody's trying to move overseas, JR. Like the Roots was one of the few groups who ever did that shit. They had to go overseas because nobody wanted to hear that shit. No, I don't know any other signed group from our era of hip hop that was like, we had to go to London for 3 years to kind of like make money because nobody wanted to fuck with us over here. I've never heard that story from any other rapper trying to get a deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? So anyway, I mean, nobody wants to go overseas at that age. Now that we old, we like, yeah, man, maybe living in Paris is a shit. Nigga, I wasn't trying to live no goddamn Paris while I'm in 1990.
But a lot of them didn't even have to move over there. You just tour and come back home. That's what a lot of them are doing now.
But what I'm saying is, could somebody tour off of, like, great example, when 50 Ja Rule was dead in the water, could Ja Rule really tour? Because he was dead in the water.
It was you can't compare Ja Rule's ability to tour to the Gap Band.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is like that. But what I'm saying is that your sound is played out. Like what's the sound that got played out, y'all? Like I can't. Outside of what JR is talking about, when New Jack Swing came in, I felt like all the R&B changed. Like every kind of like what you said, Beezo, perfect to what you said about Rakim. Like after Rakim dropped, it was like it changed the whole entire game, right? Mm-hmm. Could Busy B tour? I don't think Busy B could have toured in 1987. Nobody wanted to see Busy B. Because his style. No. But what I'm saying is that the style is played out. That's all. The moral to the story is, JR said the Gap Band sound is played out because now New Jack Swing is here. Busy B's style is played out because now bars and lyricism are here. So it's almost like once your style gets played out, I don't know if anybody wants to hear you in real time. What's up, babe?
I think it's different for hip hop because hip hop was very young. Mm-hmm. Like for Busy B, it's so young, it's still street. Like all he gonna do is tour tenement to tenement at that stage. Where he going? Like he ain't going nowhere. Community center. That's what that.
I'm about to say he do community centers,
right? Community center tour. but a band, and especially soul music, is very different.
Oh god!
And then it's the fact that by that time they are already touring overseas, so they big over there too. So they can go over there and make money and come back home. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying.
That's what I mean about you can't compare them to Ja Rule, because Gap Band by that point they had some mega hits like Drop a Bomb on You, Outstanding. Like my moms in the 80s would have gone to a Gap Band concert if that's all they was doing. So like Vegas just said, I think the hip hop shit is different. Like we'll just be like, oh no, I ain't fucking with them no more, and click and just turn that shit off. But a lot of these genres, their fans are like more rooted in, because if you was going to the concert in the 90s, you going to hear their old shit. Just like Frankie Bailey and Maze, them niggas was pouring up until like a few years ago.
Yeah.
They wasn't doing no new music. That shit was in the 70s and 80s. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think the R&B crowd, because the hip hop being so young, we the fan base that's going and not going to those concerts. Our mothers and fathers and uncles and aunts, they was the ones going to Gap Band, and they wasn't all on like the sitting out watching music videos like we was. Right. So they was still at that point where the live show meant something to them. So that's how they came up. Like we talking about how we come up on this shit that the younger generation understand. We don't understand. Our parents, they couldn't turn on MTV or BET and just sit and wait for their favorite artist video to come on and see them. Hell, some of them didn't even show up. Like you remember, you bought an Earth, Wind and Fire album. Part of the mystique was just opening that shit up and seeing all the pyramids and Egypt. That was part of the experience. So I remember my mother took me to a concert to see them when I was a kid, and I still remember that. It's like just stuck on dumb. Like this is absolutely incredible, because it was some shit I'd never seen before. But for my mother, for their generation, I think the Gap Band could have easily toured. And every time if you talk to them older artists, hip hop and R&B, they'll tell you, man, they have a more of appreciation in
overseas,
England and overseas for these artists than we do. We like spoiled, we like Yankees fans where we think we're supposed to win every goddamn year. You know what I'm saying?
Because overseas is still almost like what we used to be like in the 80s. Right. Just so the same thing that we're like, damn, we missed it. That's what they had to still deal with that shit in the 90s. When you talk to Porsche being in Vancouver, Porsche is like, we ain't have no Yo MTV Raps. I couldn't get the source. I couldn't, and she right in Vancouver in Canada. You know what I mean? All right, JR, we'll go back in time and tell them niggas to stop fucking making music and go tour, man. Go save Charlie Wilson's life. The next group I got up, man, and it's strictly for Twitter, the Beastie Boys. Niggas on Twitter and social media love to act like the Beastie Boys was whack. Nobody gave a fuck about them. And I said, there's no way in your fucking life, if you was outside, that Paul Revere, every drug dealer I knew was banging this in a system. That bass on Paul Revere, come on, man, stop. Hold It Now, Hit It. Fucking, that's it. I mean, shit. Party for Your Right, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Paul Revere. Hold It Now, Hit It, fucking Brass Monkey, Slow and Low. I remember the first time I heard Slow and Low, the new style. Not even, again, everything is gonna be on some producer shit. The first time I heard the Led Zeppelin Levees break was on Rhyming and Stealing, off this shit. You know what I mean? And two, they helped build the foundation of Def Jam. They were, if I'm not mistaken, if not the first group, they were right. They were before LL, because Ad Rock was in Rick Rubin's dorm room at NYU and found LL's demo and was like, yo, Rick, you need to listen to this kid. You know what I mean? So Beastie Boys, so all the acts y'all love from Def Jam, the foundation is the Beastie Boys. You know what I mean? So definitely had to give love to them. On the R&B side of things, I got Full Force, man.
I don't agree. That's another one. Yeah.
So you said Lisa earlier. I was going to say Full Force. That was one of my right there.
Full Force. I mean, and these names are crazy. Be Fine, Shy, Bow-Legged Lou,
Kirk.
Kurt TT. Yo, this is my word. I'm right. I'm writing this, and I'm like, is it Kurt T? And I'm like, oh no, it's Kurt TT. And then Baby Jerry.
Baby Jerry.
Yeah.
Okay. Baby Jerry. Wow.
Yes.
Now,
and they all had Jerry curls, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Beezo, just like Beezo said, for people watching in the 80s, you know, it was Jerry curls, Ready for the World, things like that. These niggas look like some niggas that would rumble you down, like would knuckle you down.
Yeah.
If you even said anything. Yeah, they from Brooklyn. Yeah. And it was weird because it was like, what would a Brooklyn nigga look like with a Jerry curl? Full force.
There you go.
Like, if you ever had to wonder.
Let's not get it twisted. In the 80s, the early 80s, the Jerry curl wasn't just some Cali shit. Nah. But I'm just saying, for the younger audience, when they think of Jerry curls, you thinking of Soul Glow. You're not thinking of no thug nigga that's gonna knuckle you down and maybe rob you. You thinking about that nigga and Coming to America. Like, are you thinking about Ready for the World? You're not thinking about these niggas. You know what I mean? The thing I loved about them is, like, in JR, we always talk about the Minneapolis sound with the drum machines. I felt like they just had their own New York sound. Like, with the way that they programmed their drums, it was like a New York City sound of the way that they did their drums. I mean, Alice, I Want You, All in My Mind, Ain't My Type of Hype from the it wasn't on the House Party soundtrack, but of course it wasn't House Party during the party scene. Not to mention all the people they produced for Lisa, UTFO. I'm gonna talk about them in a minute too. UTFO. The Real Roxanne, Cheryl Pepsi Riley. One of my favorite songs is Thanks for My Child, the long extended version joint. The joint where he stepped to her like, oh hey Cheryl, how's your family and how's your mother and how's the child? It's like, oh, the child, you know what I mean? Like, I love that. But I need the long version. I don't want the short version. I want the whole, you know, the whole long version of it. I didn't even realize they were still producing. They did. I didn't even peep. James Brown, I'm Real in '88. That was his biggest in 14 years. Yep. They did the Backstreet Boys. They did Black. They did Little Kim. They did Rihanna. They did Black Eyed Peas. And they were in House Party. You know what I mean? For people watching soon House Party, the two bullies who was bullying Kid and Play, that was Full Force. You know what I mean? And I never hear anybody ever mention Full Force's name when they're talking about the 80s. These boys had a huge foundation of being their own group and then also producing for other groups too. You know what I mean? Which a lot of people I don't think talk about. What are you gonna say, Vic?
One of the illest freestyles in House Party. We got your silly ass locked in the icebox. That shit was so funny. Like,
oh man. So yeah, Full Force. And yeah, JR, before you got on, I said Lisa and Colt Jam because I felt like she was the first around the way homegirl. I felt like there's no Mary without Lisa. Like, you know, it's like
Kell, I was gonna bring it back to that too, with the fact that Lisa was affiliated with them. The first time I ever saw her was you remember the Fresh Fest?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Run DMC. I forget who the other groups was. It was like 3 other groups, but all I remember other than Run DMC was Lisa and Colt Jam. She opened up when she did I Wonder If I Take You Home. And Full Force was on stage with her. And I remember me and my niggas was like, who are these big swole ass niggas with Jerry curls? He was like to my dancing, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But you know, Lisa was like, yo, Puerto Rican. She was cute. She reminded me, or Rosie Perez reminded me of Lisa, because Rosie Perez came later.
Yeah,
and I felt like she kind of opened that lane, go out of the step for Rosie Perez. But that was both of them, Lisa and Full Force. But I knew they had other production. I know they did that much. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. So that's crazy. So definitely shout out to them. Veg, who you got up next, bro?
Up next, I have Stetsasonic.
Man, you keep taking my groups, man.
I got them too.
That was one of them.
Going right up into the 90s. I think their last album was like 91.
Blood, Sweat, No Tears. I'm with JR. You should have toured. Because that was
And they
Yeah,
could
you
have
should've
too,
told-
with it because they had the band and shit. They
Yeah.
could've.
Right. That was the thing about them that was dope. And I didn't know that at first, right? Because I just like talking all that jazz. I thought that was a dope record. And I liked the video. And then I was looking like, why this nigga got like a keyboard around his neck? Like, what the fuck? Like, I just thought it was, I just thought it was like an aesthetic or whatever, but I wasn't paying attention to the lyrics. And he was saying hip hop band. And I'm like, oh, they're an actual band. That's kind of dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was like 91 was their last album.
They just dropped something too. They just dropped something recently. I haven't heard it, but they dropped something.
Yeah, some old nigga was like, "Oh, Daddy O got a new record." I was like, "You know how that sounds?" I know I got some gray in me, nigga, but I don't want to hear that. Like,
Yo, just when you said that just sounded old as fuck.
Right.
Like,
Hey, Daddy O got a new project. They got a new cut. Like,
nigga with a cigarette hanging out his mouth.
Right.
He got a new drink in his hand and shit. Like, Daddy O got a record. Like, nigga, what?
Right.
What are you talking about? Man?
I don't want my sons to hear nobody saying that shit to me. They be like, told you, nigga was born in the 1900s. Like, the fuck is that? But nah, like, just like they were dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just a dope group. A lot of the records were hot, and I really think, again, with them, because I listened to some of that shit today, the third album, it felt like they were trying to conform to the times, like with the titles, and in a lot of ways, because didn't Prince Paul leave around the De La Soul era, kinda?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if Paul was part of that last album. I mean, Paul was always part. Paul was like he would be in the Gravediggers, De La, and Stetsasonic at the same time.
Right.
Like he was like a free agent, like you know what I mean, and nobody had a problem with it. He could just bounce from group to group, just like it wasn't nothing. You know what I mean?
That's what that 91 album sound like. They were trying to emulate like De La Soul, like their sound. 'Cause, like even if you just read the titles of the songs. Like one of them is like, yeah, I'm promise I'm not trying to tell a joke. It's something like this. It was like your mama breath stink or some shit. And I was like,
damn,
they made a song like this? Like,
bro, the funny thing about that album is I never heard it because the album cover looks so whack. They look like they working on a railroad, and I was like, yeah, nah, it's the same thing. And I'm gonna talk about this group in a minute. And that album cover, we gonna get to them, but yeah, album covers, y'all know me. If the album cover look whack, I will not listen. I ain't even heard that album.
The album was whack. Trust me. I was like, this is what happened. That's what I kept thinking. This is what happened.
Right.
And
yeah, I had Stat too because and I remember them from On Fire, that debut album, because that was like one of them summers I was in Brooklyn, and that's Go Stetsa One. Go Stetsa One is another Brooklyn anthem. You know, that Go Brooklyn, that shit from top, like that Go Stetsa One.
Yeah.
From reading this book about the Latin Quarters, Go Stetsa One and Top Billin' was two of the songs that if they played, your chain is getting snatched and somebody's getting jumped. It's that simple. Like, nigga, if you hear them songs, y'all better move to the corner, get up against the wall, or do something. The first hip hop band, not the Roots. People love saying it's the Roots. I'll take credit for Philly, but I will not take credit for shit we did not do. The first hip hop band is Stetsasonic. This one of the first times I saw 6 niggas in a group. I was like, this ain't no fucking group. This like real Earth, Wind, and Fire type shit. You know, Cameo, Fruit Quan, and Delight, who were the rappers. Paul was the DJ. Wise was the beatbox. DBC, the devastating beat creator, was the producer. And then you had Bobby Simmons. So you really actually had 7 niggas in the group because Bobby Simmons was the drummer. So
right.
That shit was crazy. And I mean, of course, we know Sally. That was their biggest hit. Some people don't like the way Sally walked. They actually had a joint on their first album called Faye that I loved even more. And I listened to the lyrics and I'm like, did y'all just rape her? This ain't cool. But again, this like this when hip hop, I guess you could say some shit. But yeah, Stats, and I just feel like you said, Vegas. I just think like they couldn't get with the times. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Daddy O, Fruit Quan, and Delight, but like because here's the thing, they kill self-destruction. I felt like Fruit Quan had a very dope verse on self-destruction. They all did, but after that, they just Stet was definitely a dope group back in the day, man. Definitely a dope group. JP, what you got up next?
I got Houdini.
Another group I was going to talk about.
Man, Houdini. First of all, for me, they have. If I had to pick one of my favorite hip hop love song, it would probably be One Love.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
If I had to. I mean, just the music of it alone. I mean, you know. But I mean, what they talking about? But they had so many. They was one of the hot groups, and they had hits, man.
Yo, again, like the Fat Boys, for a moment in time, they were probably bigger than Run DMC. For a moment, yes. I'm not saying for years or for months, but for a moment, and they definitely had more hits. Almost
they
like
had hits, man.
They had
hits. Funky Beat, Friends, 5 Minutes of Funk, Big Mouth.
Minutes of Funk.
I mean, it's crazy.
The freaks come out at night.
Freaks come out at night. All that stuff. They have so
and you know, in
hits.
the video, that's UTFO dancing.
Yeah,
and Jermaine Dupri was.
And Jermaine Dupri. Yep. They had the video from the video was from the Fresh Fest, right? Was that the Fresh Fest?
Yeah.
I
believe
it was raining. It was rain. I think it was raining when they was performing and all that.
And that niggas had on the red leather outfits with red leather gloves and shit, dancing. 80s was a different time, brother.
Yeah. God bless the dead with ecstasy. But one thing I used to hate, that nigga would come out and then he'd strip off his jeans or his leather pants and he'd have on a leather shorts. It's like, nigga, don't come on, bro. Don't do that, bro.
That's a little,
that's a little, that's a little disrespectful because nigga ain't no ladies up in this crowd, nigga. It's a bunch of niggas. Nigga, like
nothing beats going to see Kane at the rooftop when he's wearing a Dapper Dan velour suit and the nigga dropped his pants and wearing black bikini drawers on, humping in the air and shit. And it's nothing but it's a straight sausage party up in the rooftop. And I'm like, bro, come on. Everybody's like, nigga, what?
Like, yo, read the crowd. Read the fucking crowd.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Now, if you come out as all women, do whatever you want to do.
Do your Teddy P thing, but bro. This ain't time nor the place, bro. Yeah.
Nah, I mean, you know, I they fell victim to what most people do. Like, especially with hip hop, it was it was changing, or the industry was changing so fast, and I felt like, ultimately once the '90s came, I think they did release something out like in '91 or something like that. But their greatest days were behind them by that time. You know what I'm saying? It was changing. Brand Nubians was coming, and De La was continuing to do what they did in the '90s, and Tribe and all that. But I felt like the '80s was, it was prime time for them, man. But they just couldn't last. Like, to have, like, some of our favorite hip hop artists now have careers that motherfuckers could never have years ago. And I'm talking about lengthwise. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Cole and Kendrick and Drake, like, they've been hot for the last 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's hot for 15? I mean, we can say Jay and Nas and all that, but those are the anomalies. So have a hip hop artist with a 15-year career.
Yeah, back then especially.
Yeah,
back then that was not like a 5-year career at best.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Yeah,
that was a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because hip hop was so young, and we were all kids at the time. Somebody who's 12 to somebody who's 15, that might as well be 10 years.
Right.
When you're a kid, you know what I'm saying? But when you get older, I'm 25, he's 28. It's not a big deal. But when you're young, so somebody that was older, like somebody was 26 doing hip hop, like, you like an old nigga to the young kid who's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. That's how. But now, so it's changed because now, we're able to accept, because we're growing up with hip hop, and it's not like we hit a certain age and we stop listening to it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're this age, we rock with what we rock with. We may not rock with everything that's on the radio or what's popular, but there's enough for us to enjoy and be hip hop fans, because our favorite artists can still make music and we can enjoy it, at our age. But back then, it was, you wouldn't survive. You couldn't have a long career. So I feel like that was part of it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think too with like the people you name, like I think from 2000 on, hip hop ain't changing no more. You know what I mean? So what I feel like,
what you mean by ain't change? What do you mean?
Like I don't think the lyricism has got. I haven't seen another Rakim. I haven't seen another before or after. You know what I mean? So if this album J. Cole's about to drop could be 5 years old, and it probably will still sound good right now because not much has changed. Like I can't like even the way like Bagels was saying, well, like there was a time when we was all sampling James Brown and using breakbeats. Then that changed to Pete Rock and Premier. Now we're chopping drums and we're chopping samples. So those James Brown just rhyming over Impeach the President wouldn't work. You know what I mean? Whereas right now I feel like, I mean, it feels like hip hop doesn't move that way anymore, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't, there's nothing that's big enough to say, oh, yo, that song from 5 years ago wouldn't have been good now. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think like I don't know I don't see anybody being like, okay, there was hip hop before Kendrick and Cole and then hip hop after. It's like, nah, it's just
right.
I don't think anything has come to say, okay, that way of making beats or that way of rhyming is now whack. And I feel like when we was growing up, hip hop it was like in the Wiz where it's like, yo, the color's green. And so we all went out and brought green shit. Now it's like, oh no, the color's red. It's like, oh fuck, now we gotta go buy red shit. Like I feel like now it's just like there's almost like do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like
because there's an audience for you.
Right. Because there's an audience
for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like you can have an audience of 10,000 fans. And if they rock with you, that could be your audience. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. You got to manage your expectations of how much you can make from them or whatever, things like that. But you can do, like anybody could do anything. There's an audience for everybody, for real.
Right. What are you going to say, Vag?
I was going to say, when you look at Kendrick and J. Cole and even Drake, I think because they kind of carried a lot of old school sensibilities in their music and how they did things, I think that's the reason why some of us like them. But that's also the reason why it doesn't sound that different. You know what I'm saying? Because of how they create music. They're creating something new out of what was already created. So for us, it's not that separate, right? And then the things that sound completely different lack art and things like evolution. So I kind of feel like that's probably what it is. Because like you said, like I like the J. Cole joint, but that could have came out a couple years ago, and it doesn't matter what year it is. It sounds like something he would make, regardless if it's 2026 or 2016. So I agree.
And I don't know if that's because it's not a lot of labels in the radio anymore. Because the last time I could really think that the sound changed was like when the Shiny Suit era came out. You know, and I remember being at 8889 and Geffen had shut down, and that's why Large Pro's album got shelved because they was like, it sounds too dirty. It's on the SP1200. You know, we got Puff on the radio and in the videos, and all their music sounds like shiny. You know what I mean? So what are we gonna do with this dusty ass SP1200 music? You know what I mean? And then another time it changed. You know when it changed again? When Swiss came out with the Triton. Because I remember Roots was like, yo, nobody sampling no more. Fuck these records. I'm getting a Triton. You know what I mean? Yeah, hated the shit too. But then it shifted back when Jay did the Blueprint, and then the Chipmunk Soul shit came into play. And then everybody was doing Chipmunk Soul. But I feel like at a certain point now, like in Beezo, don't let me forget about talking about Fanat's album too. But I remember when Fanat used to be over here in 2013, I'd be like, yo, nigga, if we giving away this album, I ain't putting no drums on it. It's just going to be drumless. And that nigga was like, man, stop being lazy with the drums. Now fucking 90% of hip hop is drumless. Niggas don't even have drums no more. You know what I mean? So it's almost like it's no thing to be like, yo, that's played out now. You know what I mean? And I mean, I guess it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, and I don't know if we will ever get to that Rakim point again where we can say before or after. I always say the same thing with Straight Outta Compton. There was hip hop before Straight Outta Compton and hip hop after. Before Straight Outta Compton, Rakim said, "I'ma tear shit up." Kane said, "All shit." There was one curse word per song, maybe per every 5 songs on your album. After Straight Outta Compton, Kool G Rap first album had no curses, not one. Second album had 8,000 curses. Like it Outta Compton literally shifted the way that people made music. And before Straight Outta Compton, the last thing you'd want was that parental guidance sticker on your album. That was a death sentence. Nobody's gonna buy my album. After Straight Outta Compton, you wanted that shit because you knew that the little white kids in the suburbs was gonna be like, oh, you can't listen to that. Oh, word, let me go buy 3 of them shits. So it's on. I don't know if we've had a before and after, or if we will again, where we could say like this was hip hop before and this was hip hop after. Nowadays, and like you said, JP, maybe because it is because everybody has their own audience. Maybe it's because we don't have the radio, because Vegas from us radio, you would have to fit the format. So Large Pros, the LP is not going to fit the format of 92Q. Maybe they can slide in I Just Want to Chill, but you can't play I Just Want to Chill next to Nelly, or Ja Rule, you know what I mean? But now you don't have to worry about that anymore, because, so maybe, I don't know, but I'm just thinking that may be one of the things. JP, did I go to you, or did you?
Yeah,
you said you did. Beezo, what you got up?
Caston said all my, I had a couple of ones that y'all already said. So I'm gonna go like one I kind of had, I wasn't really sure about, but they meant something for me, and that's the Masters of Ceremony. For those of you who know who Grand Puba is, that was Grand Puba's original group,
first group. Yeah,
but their song Cracked Out, bro. Listen, do yourself a favor. Listen to, I think it's the second verse, the Puba. When he said, yo, I got the jumbos. You cannot give one no credit, no shorts, homeboy. You might as well forget it. That whole sequence, that whole part of that verse is incredible. I mean, again, if you grew up in that era, the crack era, and saw your man's who was an OG in the neighborhood, now this nigga's a fiend, and he's breaking into people's houses and stealing shit and doing whatever, and that chick that you looked up to and thought she was banging, now she's a fiend and she's doing whatever. Like, that song, it was like a PSA, you know what I'm saying? But it was a joint. It was it was a real hip hop song. But the lyrics made it like a PSA. And then even on their second album, I think it's the second album, when they were doing shit, they had my man Nick T. That's my man. He was singing on it. He was dancing for them, but he was also singing. Amaretta. That was my shit, bro. That song right there by Master, that was my shit. I'm biased against that. My man Nick T was singing on there. But that laid the foundation for Puba's career. Right. Because that's where Brand Nubians came about, you know what I'm saying? Because Puba was established in the industry, and he was actually working on Sadat's album and Jamal's album. Puba's the one that said, yo, y'all should come together. The label was the one like, yeah, they cool, but we want you. So he said, you know what? Then it'll be a group, the 3 of us. From what I was told, it was originally supposed to be Grand Puba and the Brand Nubians. Puba never really had the mindset of this being a trio. It was always supposed to be, I'm putting y'all on, I'm gonna get y'all out there and y'all go do your thing, and I'm gonna do my thing. But it all started with Masters of Ceremony. So without Masters of Ceremonies, you don't get Puba's solo album, you definitely don't get Brand Nubians. You know what I'm saying? The first album, One for All, and then you might not ever get the Sadat solo albums, the second Nubians album, all that shit. It all catapulted off of Masters of Ceremonies and the work that Puba did. Yeah, that's more personal for me.
No, but you're right. That set the foundation. The funny thing, it was a group out of South Jersey called the Crown Rulers who had an MC named Grand Puba. You know what I mean? They had a joint called Kick the Ball. So when I heard Grand Puba, I had heard Masters of Ceremonies before I heard Brand Nubian. So when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, this is the Grand Puba from Crown Rulers. But it wasn't. You know what I mean? It definitely wasn't.
Puba, let me tell you something. I've had different dealings with him on some French. Puba's a wild dude. He's a wild dude. Like this story, he used to steal the per diem when they go to the studio. He's just a wild dude, man. Because you know what it is he always knew the industry shit because he was a part of it from back then. And I remember before I even knew who he was, me and my peeps was at a party in New Rochelle at the high school, and when those parties would end, the entire party will walk down the main street in New Rochelle. If you going back to the Vernon, you going to Yonkers or wherever in New Rochelle. And we walking, and my man started singing Cracked Out. And this dude is walking right next to us with a backpack on, he laughing and shit. I had no idea why. My man's like, yo, that's that nigga right there. I'm like, you saw it? That's that nigga. That's Grand Puba. I'm like, Grand Puba. He's like, yo, this nigga, that's him. He was just in the crowd. He was a regular dude. Had the fade and his little backpack on. And then years later, my man Nick T connected me and my man Floyd with him. And we actually went to the Bronx and met up with him and Jazzy J studio. Yo, Puba is a straight comedian, nigga. He got just mad jokes. He had it. We didn't do nothing. We were supposed to be in there making music. We did nothing but tell jokes for like 3 hours and then bounce. And never seen him again, never seen Jazzy. Just been hung out and told jokes. And then fast forward when I was at Morgan and my man Naeem, who now works over at Sony, he was tight with Alamo. Was like, yo, they doing the show. Puba's doing the show out in I think it was Lincoln University or some shit. And we go out there, we got there early with Alamo, and we ate all the fish that they had out there for them. Puba shows up, and he's like, yo, I'm not performing until I get more fish. He locked himself in one of the rooms and refused to go on stage, so they went out and got some more fried fish. It took like 2 hours. So they had to
Wow.
I shit you not. And he's like, and I need some weed because the security guards took his weed on the way into the party. So I need some fried fish and some trees, and then I perform. And he got him his fried fish and his trees, and he performed. But he was that type of dude. Like he knew the whole industry. You know, I'm the star type of shit, and he played that shit to the hilt. He did it how he did it his own way, man. He's a different dude, man.
And the sad
And
part is
nice lyrically too.
And the sad part is, it's one of the reasons why he ain't here no more, because he burned so many bridges. Because I've heard a lot of Puba stories too from people who worked with him on the industry
Dante
side.
Ross has told a bunch of
Puba stories. Exactly. I was when I was in LA, I was with Dante. So yeah. JR, what's up? Who you got next, bro?
I've had loose ends, and I want to say that because I feel like if they wouldn't have broke up, I think they could have got through the 90s though. I really do. I think if they wouldn't have broke
their
up,
music was never slowing down. It was never slowing down
at all, and that's what makes me so mad because I'm like, damn. Even though you know that "Don't Be a Fool" joint was dope, you know what I'm saying? But
that was cool.
It just didn't have the standards of Gene and you know what I'm saying on it. So it was just like, damn. But they sound hit so hard as New Jack was anyway. They'd have fit right in, and they would have coasted through the 90s to me. So when you said about that, I was like, let me just say that. But I'm gonna say Cameo. I'm gonna say that because you took it out of mine. But I'm gonna say Cameo because it's so crazy that they started in the 70s but really didn't hit until hit until like 85. But they had hits before then. But it was MTV that got them. You know what I'm saying? Got them the big thing, and then it was like after their biggest record, that was it. Like after Word Up, it was like they were done. It was no more. You know what I mean? That was probably album number 15 any damn way, but still. You know?
JR, do you know what happened? Do you know why they stopped? Because that's when that was like their biggest hit.
Yeah, it was like their biggest. It was, I think, money for sure. You got so many people in it. And then you got, you know, Larry obviously is the front runner of it all. So you know they're pushing this solo thing with him. You know what I mean? And everybody's feeling some type of way about it. So it was really money and all that ego and all that. So then by the time they got to that album afterwards, I think, what was it called? It came out like 88. You could tell the vibes weren't even there no more. And it was just like, nah, that's it. And I think the gimmick of the videos was kind of, he was like, that's corny. We on to the next now. So yeah.
And I mean, because that Word Up album was big with that Word Up, Candy, and Back and Forth.
Like Single Life.
Yes, but Single Life was before that. Single Life.
That was before that. But they was. I remember like when Eddie F was the DJ for all the parties in Westchester County. Every time he did a party, when that song came on, it was Single Life, and then later on, like Back and Forth, as you know, just towards the end when he was doing parties and stuff. And then Pete Rock kind of picked up the baton after Eddie F, and the same thing. It was a lot of Cameo and loose ends. You get one of them joints just in the party, just change the vibe, and then bring it back to some hip hop shit. But yeah, Cameo, they was dope, man. Yeah,
shit, She's Strange. I may love that shit. That may be my favorite. That may be my favorite Cameo song. She's Strange. That is crazy, man.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna skate through the rest of mine real quick. I got Schoolie D. I mean, nigga started gangsta rap. I mean, basically put Philly on the map. You know what I mean? As far as hip hop is concerned, shit, he's the unofficial soundtrack for King of New York. You know what I mean? One of the reasons I love King of New York so much is because every damn Schoolie D song is in there. Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew. Similar to what Beezo was saying about Buffy and everything, one of the OG beatboxers and a party rocker. Like, Doug is one of those people who you can still call on right now to, you want somebody to MC a party, you get Dougie Fresh. One of the biggest hip-hop 12 inches with the show and Lottie Dottie. One of the first songs with cursing. Lottie Dottie was the first song I had to go over my man's crib, my man Classic, because his older brother Walt had it. So that, because my mom was like, yo, I don't want to hear no cursing in here. You know what I mean? So, like, what's your wrinkled pussy? I can't be your lover, nigga. Take that shit somewhere else, you know? So I had to sneak to go listen to that. And was one of the first MCs with two DJs, Chill Will and Barry B. You know, Light went on to have two DJs. Main Source went on to have two DJs. I never knew why we had two DJs because neither of these fucking 6 DJs I just named could really DJ. So I don't know why we needed 2 of them motherfuckers. It's not like you had Jazzy Jeff and Cash Money. Like, okay, I get that. Like, but these 2 niggas can't do shit. Had Curtis Blow, hip hop's first superstar. I mean, The Breaks, Basketball, Christmas Rap, If I Ruled the World, 8 Million Stories, AJ Scratch, first to get a major record deal, and then ending off with these guys right here, Untouchable Force Organization, UTFO. I mean, Roxanne has got to be one of the biggest songs in hip hop history. I was with Naomi the other day and we were digging and actually found a 12-inch for it. And I'm like, look at, she's like, yo, why he dressed like a prince? I'm like, yeah,
he got a sword, son.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why he has a sword, you know, but
look at the shoes. Look at their shoes, son. Come on, man.
You know. So and the funny thing is,
Kool Moe Dee was dressed like that. This nigga dressed like a doctor with gloves on.
Right, yo,
an old Haitian nigga with a suit on and shit.
This
his immigration meeting or some shit. And this nigga got on a beret with a sword, bro, with a captain, pirate captain jacket on.
Yo,
it was different.
Yo, Naomi's asking me. She's like, yo, why is he dressed in all white? I was like, oh, that's Dr. Ice. And she was like, the fuck? Like, she was like, why he dressed in a suit? I was like, oh, that's the education.
Doctor wearing white gloves.
I don't know, my nigga. And then she was like, why is the nigga got a suit on? I was like, oh, he's the educated rapper. Naomi, yo, it's funny. She was just like, y'all was different in the 80s. I was like, yeah.
So what did you tell his excuse for the sword and all that?
Oh, I have no idea. I got no idea for Kango Kid. God bless the dead too, but I got no idea. And the $3.99 sticker, like when you could go get a album from the Sound of Market in Philly for $3.99, y'all. You know what I mean?
But
so like,
has there ever been a song that has been, I don't know what you even call it, like not copied, but have like
the family tree
song? You know what I'm saying? Has there ever been a song, even like the bridge?
You know what?
That, that's like 7 songs on it.
It's more so if you go into the Roxanne lane. Like if we did a family tree of Roxanne, then we go into Roxanne Shantae, then you go from the Roxanne Shantae down to Sparky D, down to all those answer songs. That it all starts with UTFO.
Yeah, that's a dope song. You know? That was one of them classics, like anthems back in those days.
Yeah,
that shit dropped at the party, everybody was cutting it.
And again, the craziest part was Mixmaster Ice with the ninja outfit on, nigga. In 1984, I wanted to be a ninja too, nigga. Yo, this nigga's a DJ and ninja, nigga. You the best of both. You the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but
I'm like,
nice,
yo.
He's
nice.
He's nice.
But it's just the fact that the nigga had on a ninja outfit on the, and you see Kango still got the sword. Ice still is in all white.
So why is it like lipstick and mascara and?
Well, because this is a female's dresser. Their picture is on a female's dresser.
What's the name of the album?
What is that? Sword, you never know.
The name of the album?
Oh, the name of the album is just UTFO.
Oh.
Just Untouchable Force Organization. Used to love it them days when everything had to stand for something. Remember Edo G and the Bulldogs? And Bulldogs was like everything stood for something. It was like
everything was an acronym.
Yeah, everything was a fucking acronym.
Untouchable is one goddamn word. If they didn't want to be UFO, Like, we're gonna throw the T up in there. You know what I'm saying? Switch it up.
Right.
Hey, Slick. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Organization. Like it's 3 niggas, 4 niggas. Organization. And they have a
You can tell they gave up on that last letter and shit. Like,
we gotta come up with something.
Oh my god!
Come on, man.
But
hip hop was different back then, bro.
of course, they couldn't make it through to the 90s. The last joint they had was this joint called "You Cold Wanna Be With Me." That was my
that was
last.
dope.
Yeah, that was dope. But that's what I'm saying. That was like 87. That was like 80.
Classic. Have one song about the ladies and some romance.
Right, because you gotta remember
Shan
this had to
like
this had to be 85. You know what I mean? So and like I think JP, you were saying how the Fat Boys used to come out with an album every year. You know what I mean? So you go from 85 to 88 and You Cold Wanna Be With Me, but that was it for UTFO. But yeah, Beg, you got anybody?
You know what you gotta do, Kell? You gotta have a show for like, maybe you did this at some point, hip hop slow song, like.
Oh, we did. We did.
Love and all
Yo,
that shit,
this joint right here, Fairy Tale
Lover. Dope. Yeah,
Fairy Tale Lover. And I tell dudes, this was the first hip hop love song. This is before LL's I Need Love. Hev, I shouted out Hev, Don't You Know? That's one of my favorite hip hop slow songs. Sweet Teas, Why'd It Have to Be Me? MC Shan, Left Me Lonely.
That's my shit right there.
Yeah,
that's the Shan one is my shit.
Yeah,
that's
Left Me Lonely.
Right
yeah, God Bless the Dead with TJ Swan. I don't know, that nigga was never on key, but we loved some TJ Swan. But that was a nigga. God Bless the Dead. But shit, Bang, who you got left, bro?
I think I only have one. Dane. I think he had an opportunity when Slick Rick, was locked up, like to
Dane right there.
Because what's crazy, like what we talked about, with biting and all that stuff. We kind of gave Dane a pass because his records were dope. And then also, some of us knew him being in the crew and how everybody else had an accent. He didn't. That's why he did it.
Well, no, Veg, you I don't think a lot of people know that. You schooled us to that. I had no idea that's where it flipped from.
What it is? Like when because we all been there down the YouTube rabbit hole. And I think I was watching something totally different, and it was like Interview with Dane, and that just shit started playing. And when he was talking, and the guy asked him about the accent and all that, and when he said it, I was like, damn, that makes a lot of sense, because Slick Rick and the other dudes in the crew were going to change their accents to sound more American. But he was like, well, I'm the odd man out. I'll just change my accent so we all sound together because we are part of this crew. And I didn't know that back then. I also didn't think he was from London. I thought it was just a fucking style. Like, I was a kid, so I was just like, that's the way the nigga rhyme. Like, what the fuck? But I think also, like, Slick Rick is Slick Rick. He's gone. We like Dane. Music's kind of changing. Like you said earlier, Kell, like, some of that playful shit was starting to get played out. But people like Rakim being, dead ass serious. And I got a Vegas Hollywood story about that too. But I've been disrespecting the legends too much tonight. Because I've been the same way the whole time. But I remember my man Suge was like, "Yo, this is late 90s, almost 2000s. Yo, you still be rhyming?" I'm like, yeah, sometimes it'd be like, yo, Dane live right there. I was like, nigga, Biggie done died, Pac done died. Why the fuck would I want to even talk to Dane? And he did live there because I saw him on that block one time. I was like, damn, there you go right there. But
my God, man.
Nightmares was my shit. So.
Yeah, about Nightmares. That was the shit right there.
It's funny, Vague, that you say that, because me and Nate was painting her room and we playing one of my old school tapes. She was like, so he's from London? I was like, no, he ain't from London. He's from Fort Greene. She was like, well, why do he sound like Slick Rick? I was like, oh, because they was in the crew. She was like, but ain't that biting, Daddy? And I'm like, I guess, yeah. I guess that's what it is. You know, like, yeah, out the mouth of babes, because she's like, well, if the nigga ain't from London, why he rhyming like that? I'm like, you know. But yeah, Veg, I just think the silliness, you know, we didn't mind fucking you singing over the Munsters beats, talking about nightmares and Dr. Slumber and Cinderella, like that shit was all cool in the 80s, nigga. Like you said, I feel like going back to Beezo, like post Rakim, it's like, nigga, we serious now. Hip hop, we don't do no parents don't understand and girls ain't nothing but trouble and all that shit. Nah, that's dead. We dead serious from now on. No more fucking jokes. Like, and niggas like Dane and Dane was like, fuck, that's all I got is jokes and stories. So, you know, what am I supposed to do? You know, JR, go back in time and tell Dana to tour. Like, that's the thing. I'm gonna keep sending your ass back in time to go fucking tour, because I swear, JR, you had to be in like 1958 soul sessions with Stats and all the shit, you know. JP, you got anybody left, bro?
No, I'm through. I'm done.
All right, B, who you got left?
I'm just curious though with Dana Dane, like, you know how like if a cat comes talking with a fake New York accent or a fake Yardie accent, you know, like, this nigga ain't Jamaican. For London cats, did they hear Dana Dane like, man, this nigga ain't from London? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you knew some of the, like,
that's a good thing.
Might have been on point. Like, I would really like to hear from some niggas out here when they heard him back then, like, well, I don't know about this nigga here. Something don't sound right. I know if some cat came around like he's from New York and he's saying old, like he could say Daddy O to me. I'm like, nigga, you ain't funny. Come on, man. Stop it, bro. Stop it.
Yo, I gotta ask my man Slack and Easton. They from London.
Yeah,
I gotta ask them, like, yo, how?
Because I never knew that. I never knew he was. I would until you said that just now, Vegas. I had never known that shit. That's crazy. He was faking.
Yeah, and I stumbled upon that because I didn't know either.
He was just faking and shit. Yeah. But now my group, my last one is I don't even know if this is 80s, but I'm gonna bring them up anyway because they was a one-hit wonder. There's one of the biggest hits at the time, and that's Raw Bass and Easy Rock. Again, I don't think that's 80s. So I'm
that's definitely 80s.
Okay,
it's definitely 80s.
Almost every one of my other ones is shit.
Yeah, that's definitely 80s.
It Takes Two, bro. That was, you talking about anthems. I mean, like, my pops and stepmoms and them, they knew that song. You know what I'm saying? That was like some next level shit. And it was just the simplest loop from that James Brown, what's the name, Lynn Collins joint or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's the dope ass song, was a dope ass video. And then he had the what was it, Joy and Pain after that.
Joy and Pain,
which was dope. And then
that was it.
That was it.
That was it.
Over and done with. That was it. But he had that 2 hits. He wasn't a one-hit wonder. But then 2 hits was hard, man. That first one was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was like lightning in a bottle. Because I mean, no disrespect to Rob and God bless the dead with Easy Rock, but it's not like Rob Bass was some ill lyricist. You know what I mean? Or not like that. He was
more like a Busy Bee type of dude in that era.
Right. And the cool thing is, I think everything played together. I mean, the video was huge. They shot it on the 125th. You got Biz in it. You got Red Alert. It's like cameos in it. The dancing was in it. Like, so it wasn't just. It was like all of that stuff. And Joy and Pain was dope, but like you said, after that it was just like, nah, like it ain't nothing left in the tank on that. JR, you got anybody else left, bro?
I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, because you were taking a lot of mine, so I was just so yeah.
Man, I'm just happy I had some people on your list, man. You the guru over there with this R&B shit. And again, y'all, I just challenge other podcasts, other people who are doing things like this. In 2026, let's start shouting out some of these other groups. There's so many other amazing MCs and groups and producers that have, and I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, we always give our flowers shows on Apartment 5B, and we do shows to highlight that, but I want to do it even more because I feel like when we talk about producers, it's always Pete, Primo, Marley, you know, Dilla's the same. Like, yo, we got to talk about some of these King of Chills and, you know, God bless the dead, Mark the 45 King. We got to talk about, you know, E Swift. There's so many other producers, Manny Fresh. There's so many other people we could talk about and just start giving them love. Beezo, you are working on an album right now. Talk a little bit about the album and who you working with, man.
Oh, yeah. My man, Kaleem. Kaleem the Dream at this way. Straight up is using his government name, Kaleem Green. The name of the album is going to be The Book of Kaleem. We're going to start putting out a couple of singles first. You know, we talked about it last week, Kell. Everybody loved your ideas and stuff, so we definitely want to follow through on some of that. But yeah, like we talked about last week, man. I think if you a hip hop head, especially from our generation, it's gonna have a feel and a vibe of like what this Legends tour that Nas did with the De La's and the Mobs and everybody from the 90s coming back and staying true to their sound, but sounding up to date and current. And you know what I'm saying? And Kell, Kaleem, like you said, he been rhyming since forever. You know what I mean? He never stopped. He wasn't putting out music, but he's definitely grown and progressed as a rapper, as an MC, because of the life experiences. You know, he should have been on 20 years ago, but things that was going on in his life kind of took him away and got him off point. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I think the life lessons he learned is definitely helping, and it's definitely kind of put the battery in his back, and for the lyrics and the flow, everything. I mean, he's always been crazy with the flow. I know you know that, Phil, from working with him. And he's an easy artist to work with because he's open to ideas. He'll tell you what he wants, but then if you got an idea, let's take it over here. If he, all right, B, I trust you. You know what I mean? He'll give you a lane to do your thing. And it's gonna be dope, man. Like I said, it's gonna be a little something for everybody. Definitely some joints for the ladies. But I think it's something like Sha said it last week, that it's something for everybody. If you listen to hip hop, yeah, there's no trap or whatever you want to call that style, but that's not our thing. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta stay true to ourselves. When we came together to do this shit, one of the main things that he said to me, and I piggybacked on that shit, was like, I'm not trying to do what everybody else is doing in the same way they're doing it. We got to do our thing. We got to do this music that's true to us, and just put this shit out there, man. Let the people enjoy this shit. So nothing's going to sound forced. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's going to sound authentic because it does come straight from me musically, and then straight from him. And our connection goes back to when he was 16, 17. You know what I mean? So I've known the brother for like damn near 30 years, man. So it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
And for everybody out there watching, go YouTube K Fanat Zoo York. That was his old rap name. You know, Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay. So now he Muhammad Ali. Well, we gonna respect that.
Can I just say, I'm gonna cut you off, but he's going through a myriad of monikers. So in case you see something out there, originally he was the Fanatic. Then he was K Fanat. Then he was Fanat. Now I'm like, and I told him, like, bro, you were KK when I first met you. You went through all these other names, and now you this grown man. You Kaleem Green. That's you. And that's his government. That's who he is. It's the dope name. It's like, that's what you are. You Kaleem Green. And I always call him Kaleem the Dream, like, you know, Hakeem Olajuwon. But yeah, so right. You might see, but it says K Fanat. That's why that was. I just want to send people back because Zoo York was huge. He was signed to Hydra Records out of Queens with Screwball, a whole bunch of other big people. So definitely go check that out. JR, what's going on with the R&B Reps? What's going on with you?
Oh man, R&B Reps, man, we had like a big subscribers in like basically 5 days. We went from like 1,800 to 3,600 subscribers. So this is crazy from a short, and then people came back and watched the videos and really showing us love. So our page is really, really growing. So definitely is a good thing for real. And at least it's getting back to the 60 seconds of vinyl because people love that. How she break it down in 60 seconds of vinyl, and that's dope. And I'm getting back on to JR Stacks Life, but I'm going to Philly now. So I'm gonna be doing Philly joints, so that I'll catch that regular joints, dope. Catch that minis are dope. We now added fan culture because, like Kell said, we having these stands that's freaking ridiculous. And I was like, so we have people come on the show and talk about, and we ask good and bad questions about your fave, and you gotta answer. So that's a dope show. You got a lot of people like, oh no, I don't have nothing bad. Yes, fuck you do. You know there's something you don't like. So please, please, your artists ain't good all the time. So I like that one. So yeah, just showing love on R&B Reps. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, R&B Reps, James World of Soul, Naturally Elise on social media. But R&B Reps, we pushing and doing the damn thing. So this is great.
All right, JP, what you got cooking up over there, good brother? I see you either shooting a video or in the studio or photography. You always got something cooking up creatively. So what you got going on?
I mean, you know, just when we spoke before we start recording, back on the beats. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put out something this year. Maybe an instrumental, maybe with an artist. I'm trying to figure that out right now. But you know, the visuals is going good. Got clients working, doing my video thing. Couple weddings going up. You know, just staying busy, man. So you know, I'm at JPass Visuals, JPass Music on Instagram, all that. You can catch me.
All right, and Vay, what you got going on, fam?
None. I got 3 jobs, man. I can't.
Yeah, I'm just here, bro.
Yeah, I got 3 jobs. You could follow me on social media at Vegas World INC. You can check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, a weekly news podcast. And this year in 2026 is the 30th anniversary of a ton of dope hip hop albums from 1996. So what I decided to do was like revisit an album each month, just 12 of them, because there's even more than 12 that are dope. But 12 albums each month with a guest to talk about them. I got Kell on one of the episodes. I had the R&B representatives on another one. I'm not gonna lie, I did like 4 straight last week, and I'm like, what the hell did I do? How many more? It's like, like I'm about to cancel the shit. Like it was because you know you like talking about it,
Right.
But then all 4 of the episodes I did was just sitting. I was like, I gotta edit 4 episodes. Like, come on. So, but it's been pretty dope having the conversations with different people and their reactions. And like for example, with the R&B representatives, we did Little Kim's Hardcore. And JR threw me off guard because he'd be like, yeah, I was 8. And I'm like, 8? What? Like, I was crushed. Like,
that's crazy.
He was 8.
Wow. My son is 8. I couldn't imagine him listening to Little Kim.
Yeah, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm swallowing babies. JR over here watching fucking... 8 is like second grade. Niggas learning how
third
to
grade. It was the third grade. Listening to
Right.
Yeah. Swallowing babies, man. God damn. All right. And then you already know what it is with me. Kill 889 Twitter IG. Again, we got to shout it out. I'm not gonna believe it until I get the award. Check out my documentary, Killing the Kids. It's about my relationship with 2 of my kids. Been doing this work.
Whoa, brother. Say that slower because
you're right.
Like you said, killing the kids.
Right, yo, you know what? I do have to say slow because that's what Eddie. Eddie was like, yo, Kill, I was looking for it, but I couldn't find Killing the Kids. I'm sorry. It's Kill and the Kids. And the Kids. Kill and the Kids. Right. Killing the Kids. It's on YouTube. PBS actually picked it up, so you could check it out on PBS. We won the PG County Film Festival, and we also just won a fucking Emmy. Now, I won't believe the Emmy until I get it in the fucking mail.
Okay.
But we have won a Capital Emmy for that, so definitely check that out. Shouting out Chuck D's new rap magazine right here, Rap Central Station. Joint is legit. It's a dope magazine. I mean, it's really like this is a real life. I feel like I'm reading Billboard again for the first time. So, I mean, this is really something dope. You can check this out. Follow him on Twitter or IG. The link is up there. Y'all know I'm a bookworm. So my man, Ben Peardrosh, independent as fuck. This kind of is all about independent hip hop and where it's been like going back to the early 90s. So this is a very dope book. And then also, Best Handles Ever, Sham God's book right here. It's an incredible book. It's an incredible read. I mean, the stories of him, Cam, and Mace growing up in Harlem are hilarious. So many dope stories. So if you're a basketball fan, you never heard of Sham God, just YouTube Sham God. He's the only person who has a crossover named after him. So as much as I love AI, you have people like, yo, I hit him with the Sham God. So this is definitely a book you got to check out. I will check y'all next week, good peoples.